right. This is like long overdue, but everything happens, at the right time, at divine right time. You already know. So, I am going to talk about something that is going to be a little heavy to talk about. Um, kind of like just got to come on out and just share my thoughts on things, and I don't expect everybody to be welcoming and open arms to what I'm about to talk about. And some of you guys may resonate with it, some of you guys may not. Um, but I want to talk about this situation. It's long overdue. I wasn't going to talk about it. I wanted to, but I was like, no, I don't think it's for me. Hold on, let me let my dog out. Okay. At first, I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about this. And then I was like, no, I don't really know if I want to because it's touchy. I mean, so I'm sure you guys heard of the mystic lipstick chick that unalived herself, first starting off with her boyfriend. Hey, sis. How are you, Ashley? She unalived her boyfriend. She tried to unalive both of her children and only ended up with one of her children, her 8-month-old baby. The 9-year-old lived. Her boyfriend, of course, did not, and she unalived herself. So at first, when I heard her story, I did have some level of sympathy for her because as a mother, I know that postpartum is a real thing. Postpartum depression is a real thing. When you also tap into spiritual things, you have to have a level of groundedness. You cannot be totally engulfed in the spirit realm all the time. You know what I mean? Like you have to have some ground in reality. You know what I mean? And just further just allowing myself not to speak on it. That's why I don't like to speak on things right when things happen, because the energy has to kind of let things unfold. I give opportunity to people, to give people the benefit of the doubt, but I always like to, I've learned to, I should say, to sit back and just listen to people or just allow people to show you who they are. So I'm glad I did that because things are coming out about this woman, unfortunately, that she was harassing and stalking this other spiritual practitioner, wishing death on her, and so on and so forth. Other people that were, I guess, working with her or knew her, she wasn't stable, mentally stable. She wasn't there. So these things are coming out about her, and I'm telling you, like, y'all don't think that astrology holds weight. It does. Like, we are stars in motion. Like, you know what I mean? Like, literally, we are connected to the spirit realm constantly. So the stars do resonate with us on deeper levels. It really does. Like, it's not just some hoopla. I know that when you hear, oh, it's because I'm a Sag, oh, it's because I'm a Libra, oh, I'm a Taurus, and this is why I am the way that I am. Like, we hear the Disney, the trendy versions of spiritual things, and it comes off as corny and inauthentic, but anybody that really knows about astrology, like, no, that shit is really real. And it can predict things that happen in the world. Like, it can predict world things, catastrophic things, shifts in the planet, things within your own self. It's helpful, right? So this young woman, from what I gathered about her energy, just what I feel spiritually, she was like going crazy with the solar eclipse. She started going off on the hinges saying that it was the 𝗥𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗆 and this is the end. You guys need to get yourself right. She was half right, in a sense that, from my perspective, my understanding of the 𝗥𝗲𝗃𝗃 and the book of Revelations and what it means is it just means an end of an era, end of a cycle. Also, revelation is to reveal things. So the fact that that particular moon, that eclipse, had people freaking out, had Christians freaking out, turning into astrologists themselves and trying to predict and divine, the very things that they say is not of God they were doing, because that shit, I said it, like, I had a whole download. I'm telling you, like, my intuition be crazy sometimes. And when I say crazy, like crazy on point, to where I sat with myself and I tapped into that energy of the solar eclipse before it happened. And I said, that is going to have people dealing with themselves. Go back and watch that video where I did a lunar and solar eclipse message. That was going to have us face ourselves and inner demons. I feel like that girl drove herself crazy just based off of what people have said about her. She, and I don't want to speak bad on the dead, but I'm just speaking what I've gathered and the information. It is what it is. That she was harassing and hurting and harming people with her spiritual practices, and she wasn't really okay. This is where I want to get into the false light workers, right? False light workers are not people necessarily that only talk about love and light, because that's, some people, that's where their reality is. They're not really into the shadow work, and I don't feel like that's helpful. But there are people that are genuinely have that heart where they want to see the good in people, where you have the false light workers that do it for the money only. um like as practitioners, to be like compensated for our work, and the energy that we put into our work is not something that we should shame ourselves for. However, if you know you're not about the spiritual thing and you're doing it because it's a trend, you're doing it to make money, you're not thinking about having integrity, you're just doing it, you don't care if you mislead people. Like when you tap into the spirit realm, like you have to be careful what your intentions are and what you're tapping into. And that woman, like just based off of like what I've gathered about her and what people have said, her energy wasn't right and her intentions were not right, and she was pretty much doing things based off of trends. And that's why I kind of get upset when I come on YouTube, and it almost discourages me. Like I almost sometimes don't want to do this shit anymore on YouTube, because I feel like readers that come on with integrity and will tell you what it is, even if it's something that's uncomfortable to digest at first. We're not coming on here fluffing everything for you and it's all trendy. Oh, who's, like I love, don't get me wrong, like pick a cards are fun to do. Doing those pick a cards, like how does this person feel about you? Like people really need that. How do people view you? Like, okay, I get it to a certain degree, certain level. But when that's all that you're doing and you're not giving people real guidance and real advice and being honest with people to break themselves out of cycles and chains, you're you're not about that life. And I see too much of that on YouTube, and people love that. People will eat that shit up. People love that. They don't want to hear anything real. And some people, not even the light and fluffy messages. Some people like love to digest the, oh, this person's doing spell work on you. Oh, this person is doing this and they're stalking you and the karmic this, the karmic that. Like people like them type of videos. Like that's the reality they live in, or they're in that space, and it's very dangerous, And yeah, people love that. I can't be that reader, and I'm not saying that I'm right all the time or that, because my thing is not to come on here. I don't want to be sought after as someone that's going to tell you your future or give you the answers to your life problems. I see myself as a messenger to help you. You have to do the work for yourself. You have to use your discernment. It's dangerous. And I know personally, I had a friend. I don't know where he is right now. I have not talked to him in a couple of years. The last phone conversation I had with him, it was unsettling. I don't know where he is, but he had a lot of people tapping into his energy, going to the so-called spiritual workers that helping him do chakra healings and Reiki healings and all kind of stuff, that he went into spiritual psychosis. He started to get really paranoid. He thought people were after him. I hope he's okay. Like I said, like I know firsthand how spiritual psychosis can work. And it could happen to the people that have good intentions, and it can happen to people that do not have good intentions. And like I said, astrology is real. So that Aries solar eclipse dealt with our asses where we needed to deal with ourselves. And if your inner demons were like too great to handle, so I do believe that some people had to just go. They couldn't do it. That girl, I will say that all that energy she put out came back tenfold. She had to take herself out. She couldn't face herself. She couldn't face herself. And it's unfortunate. It's sad. It's a sad thing, but I can't like just be on here and just fuck around, and which is why that live I did the other night, I said that I wouldn't be doing um certain, like the way that I read, I feel like spirit is calling me, just me within myself. Like I feel it's time to be more raw with my messages and not hold back or try to like, oh, let me, gotta be, no. Of course, I need to be mindful and not be aggressive and inconsiderate, but to, it would be a disservice to just be like, you know what, I'm not going to say that because somebody's going to get offended. Of course, people are going to get offended. It is what it is. People are going to get offended. Um, So I'm not on here to bash anybody, but I do feel like at this time, just like the energy's not done as far as clearing out. And I stress this all the time, like you have to face yourself. You have to. And most people are not able to do that. Either they're going to blame shift and point all of their problems and all of their demons on other people, or they're going to handle it like a G, or they're going to take themselves out. It's one of those three things. You're going to handle it like a G, or you're going to continue to blame everybody else, and your demons are going to continue to confront you and face you until you deal with it, or you're going to take yourself out of this planet. You're not going to be able to deal with it. Yeah, so that whole thing, like, it's unfortunate. And another thing that I don't really like too much about the situation is that when I was looking at some of the blogs that posted that story about the mystic lipstick girl, how everybody was like, oh, that's why you don't mess with astrology, or that's why you don't, I heard she was into tarot readings and stuff like that. Like, mind you, I believe this, and I've said this plenty of times on my channel. I don't believe that everybody should be tapping into just everything. And TikTok is like notorious for the ignorant people posting videos how to do spells and how to do this. Like, you have very young and impressionable people that go on TikTok, or even adults that don't really know how to tap into their spiritual self, haven't even gotten to that place yet, where they're maybe just coming into it, or they've always had kind of like a draw to spirituality or spiritual things, tapping into this stuff and getting some witch telling them, or some girl that proclaims, or a guy proclaiming to be a witch, telling them this is how you make money, or this is how you get that guy or that girl back, and you can do this, or you can put spells and hexes on people. And then you're wondering why you're tormented, why you can't sleep at night, why you're having all these crazy nightmares, or why you're paranoid, and why you schizophrenic, and all of that, because you ain't supposed to be tapping into that. Discernment is everything, and I understand that not a lot of people utilize their discernment. They don't tap into that ability, that gift that they have to discern. Like, you have to look beyond the shiny thing. And you guys are not, you guys, I don't want to say specifically like single everybody out watching, but the people that do get glamorized and glamnatized by the spiritual lingos and the fluffy words, and the what you think spirituality is, and how the poster child of spirituality should look like. You get so fixated and caught up on that, and the numbers and the fame, that you glorify the people that you're not supposed to. And that, I don't want that over here. I don't want nobody glorifying anything. Like, I'm just a messenger. I'm a human vessel too, you know. I humble myself. Like I said, like, I'm a human. I'm just a messenger. We're just here to help each other. There's those of us that help people, and there's those of us that will mislead people. And sometimes we unknowingly do it. We all live and learn. But my thing is, when you actively know what you're doing, like I said, I could scroll on Instagram right now, TikTok right now, and YouTube right now, and find 100 of false light workers and people just on here for the money or the fame and the glory for themselves, or just coming on here playing with stuff that they really don't know nothing about or really have any business tapping into. And then I could find like a hand select few of readers that really are about that life. And most of them are not going to be people that you like that. You might, they might have large followings. Like I really like, I love Trap Witch. Y'all probably know who Trap is, Tatiana from Trap Witch. Um, she speaks her for motherfucking mind, and she is who she is. Like, she may not be right in everybody's eyes, or she's still human at the end of the day. Like, I respect her for her speaking her truth, being honest, and saying the things people are uncomfortable to say, and exposing things without attacking people. That's what's beautiful about it. She doesn't attack people. And she gets attacked a lot because she does expose things that she makes people uncomfortable. The truth is uncomfortable sometimes. Why? Because it is presenting to you another aspect of reality that challenges the things that you're fixed in, which maybe you're not supposed to be fixed in those things. Maybe you're meant to grow and expand past that. And I know for a fact my ass triggers people. I know that triggers people to the fact where they do attack me, where they do come at me and try to like defame my character. That comes with the territory. I'm cool. I'm fine with that now. I get it. I'm not for everybody, you know? But if I see some shit that I feel like is not right, or, this is something that's going to help the collective, even if it's like uncomfortable things to get past, that's a part of growth. We think that uncomfortability means something negative all the time, or if we only talk about fluff, if I'm only talking about fluffy shit for you, you're not going to grow. I guarantee you that. You're not going to grow. If something makes you uncomfortable, meaning not like uncomfortable in a sense where it's like a negative uncomfortability where you feel like you're being attacked or you're being hurt, but if it's something that challenges you where it's like, well, I thought this was my person and I was so fixated on this being my person, and you're hearing like, no, this person's not for you. If they were for you, they wouldn't do X, Y, and Z to you. The love messages is a big thing that I deal with. So I'm just using that as an example, but to hear that is going to trigger you. But what it's doing is presenting to you a perspective that maybe you're not seeing, or maybe you don't want to. But if you stay stagnant or you stay in situations that are not for you, you're not progressing. You're not ever going to evolve, right? So if you're just tapping into the trendy and hearing what you want to hear, like, oh, you're so great, and it's not to say that you're not great and you're not unique, you're not special, you're not worthy of congratulating. It's not to say that. But if you're not hearing anything constructive at all in your life, you're just like you're you on autopilot. You're on autopilot. And I have to be real and honest, like as a messenger first, not just a tarot. Like the tarot is a tool for me. It's like a little magic wand. It don't activate. It ain't nothing until a human energy is put into it. You know what I'm saying? So beyond the cards, as a messenger, I respect the readers and the people that say the thing that others are afraid to say because they're afraid of losing followers, subscribers, likes, maybe even afraid of losing their finances or their money. Like that comes with it. You know how many times I didn't said like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore, and it hurt my business. And I know that at business people with businesses of their own will say you're stupid. You don't fuck up your money like that. You got to play the role. You got to play the game. I don't work like that. Sorry. I, if you ask me for a reading or you ask me for a coaching session advice, you best believe that I'm going to do my due diligence and best to give you what you need, not what you want, but what you need, not what you want. Okay. I'm all about encouraging people and giving them something to look forward to. But at the same time, like you got to do the work. And like, I know that all too well for myself. Like I'm a work in progress too. Like I'm not perfect. I haven't perfected everything. You know what I'm saying? Yes, her story is unfortunate. It is. It's a sad case in a sense of like, yes, if she was out here doing spell work on people to harm people, and she was pretending to like, I don't know, because one of the ladies that I watched her, what is her name? I just looked it up just now. Trap Witch's post actually led me to this other woman's Twitter that was saying how the girl, her name is Ayoka. I think that's her real name, her government name, Ayoka, the mystic lipstick woman, how she harassed this woman for years and stalked her and was doing spell work on her, which is fucking crazy. But a lot of people do that to people, a lot. And that stuff backfires one way or another. It just does. But the thing is that spirit will always correct us and always humble us. So it's one thing to say she deserved it because she was doing this and she was doing that. Yes, karma, cause and effect. But I do believe that she could not deal with herself. Like that, I told y'all, like, I'm going to go back to the solar eclipse. The solar eclipse in Aries, dealing with the first house. First house, you can look this up. You can Google this. It's not hard. Or you can get an astrology book or something, or look up an astrology person that will tell you. The first house deals with yourself. So that solar eclipse was exposing things within the self, whether these are beautiful things about yourself that you need to embrace more of, cultivate, embrace, celebrate, and or your inner demons of things that you do not like about yourself, things that you struggle with within your own identity and your truth or whatever, that is going to be mirrored back to you. I said that. Because that's what spirit told me to say. I said that. I can go back to that reading right now. I know verbatim, like I said that shit on there. I know. And again, like some people will take this with a grain of salt, like, oh, astrology and all that, but it's one of those many things that we have access to and tools to utilize to our advantage and help us understand ourselves, understand each other, understand the world better. Like, if you understand it, even at I'm not even that well versed in astrology, but I have like a level of understanding where I get it, at least like, where we can tap in and we can read it or look into it from a kindergarten level and we can still understand it and get it. Okay. Um, so this is going to, I feel like, continue to happen. It just is based off of just the energy of where we are in the planet. And y'all, like, if you think the Aries solar eclipse was something, the full moon in Scorpio that's coming up this month, that's going to also be very shadowy. Like, just knowing what Scorpio is about, that Pluto energy, like, I've had some midlife crisis during Scorpio placement moons. Like, I remember one verbatim, like, that had me questioning every motherfucking thing. And I had to ground myself, child, because I had to ground myself. And I think we're in the Pluto generation right now still, like my generation. I think late 80s to maybe, might be millennials, a little bit beyond millennials are in a Pluto and Scorpio generation. So you can imagine if you just tap into, you know, what's going on in the planet and just as a collective, you can understand like how that affects us. But that Scorpio full moon that's coming up, oh, it's still clearing. I'm telling you, like I can already feel it. And I stress this all the time. Like, please do your shadow work. Please face yourself. Please love yourself. Please deal with the heavy things in gradually deal with the things you need to deal with, because you're not going to skip this. You can't bypass it. Like I said, you're going to do one to three things. One, you're either going to face yourself and say, fuck it, let's do it. I'm going to take it like a G. Two, you're going to blame everybody else and you're still going to be in that cycle where your demons are going to hunt you and follow you and people are going to trigger you. People are going to hold a mirror up to your shit until you face it. Or third choice, you're going to take yourself out of here because you're not going to be able to deal with it. You have to. You gotta, like, somewhere inside of you tap into that inner spiritual G and be like, you know what? This shit hurts. Yeah, I want to blame my mama. Yeah, I want to blame my ex. Yeah, I want to blame the school teachers and the kids on the playground that bullied me and did this and the person that rejected me when I was 5. You can do all of that, or you could say, let's deal with the shit. Let's heal this shit. Let's do it. Or you could just be like, oh, the cycle of just the blame and the game and woe is me, pessimistic, I just pray for the people that are just like so far gone that they have lost their mind, that you find your mind again. Like, I believe it's possible, because if you got to take your time, if you try to find healing, and thank God, I thank God for this, because your girl, like, what brought me to even reading cards and tarot was actually trying to figure out my bullshit at the time, because I was going through things that I did not understand and I wasn't finding the answers at church. Wasn't finding the answers with advice from people around me. A matter of fact, I was trying to deal with things on my own. That's just how I am. Like by nature, I try to handle shit on my own all the time. And I was led to tarot on YouTube where it wasn't that big of a thing. There was a lot of angel card readers because Dorian Virtue was like the OG of the cards, like the production of cards. And she had really unique decks and stuff. So she was very popular at the time. So I came across a couple of people and they inspired me to tap into myself and get some angel cards. And that was the first time. But I want to caution this, and I'm so grateful. That's why I say I'm grateful that I didn't lose it. Because when we try to like find a quick fix, even in spiritual things, spiritual tools, um, spiritual philosophies and teachings, when we try to find some type of understanding and reasoning to our shit and we try to heal through that, or we try to bypass and skip our healing journeys by trying to find purpose or trying to, you're going to like, you're going to lose yourself. There was a time where, if y'all remember, if you've been following me long enough, back in 2020, I just, at that point, I was like, I don't feel like tarot is for me. I feel like I'm being called away from it with the cards because I was leaning too much on it. It had also became my whole identity. Like, I'm more than that. This is just something that I'm gifted in. This isn't the full thing. This isn't my whole identity. I got to check myself. So when people try to go into the whole spiritual thing, thinking that it's going to be the antidote, a spiritual tool or a spiritual teacher or guru or someone online or a book is going to be that thing that fixes you. It is a tool. You can utilize it to help you, but it is not going to be the thing that fixes you. You fix you with the help of these tools, whether it's people outside of you that are meant to help you, whether it's the people that trigger you, the people that love you, support you, encourage you, want to see the best for you, whether it's your spiritual team, whether it's you believe in the God within you or God source that you're connected to, your angels, your ancestors, whatever. It all starts with you. It all starts with you. Because if you don't deal with yourself, you're going to go into these spaces where you are going to fight yourself, or you're not going to be able to find, you have to find ground. Like, you have to find ground. You have to. So what I was getting, I don't remember when I did that live about the lunar and solar eclipse. I don't remember. It's like a collective read. It's located in my live section where my live videos are. And I was talking about the Aries, specifically effect of the solar eclipse because it was in Aries and we're still in the sun sign of Aries right now. I put exposures, life evaluation, self-examination, honor the heart or honor the ego, holy or divine rage, self-empowerment, healthy self-esteem, boundaries, aggression, survival mode, and bloodshed. I had no idea what the fuck that was. That bloodshed part triggered me because I'm like, I don't know if I want to write that, but that's what I was guided to write. I can go back and watch it. Um, yeah, I'm telling you, like, and then what else? I wrote going back to the word Genesis, because I mentioned the word Genesis meaning generation, creation, formation. And I put dealing with and clearing out generations of trauma. From birth, you've possibly dealt with family garbage and patterns, trauma dumped onto you, conditioning and programming, unhealthy beliefs and practices, unhealthy traditions, word curses such as limiting beliefs and speaking and diminishing words spoken over you or yourself, basically casting darkness onto yourself. Um, yeah. And I put Aries is a ruler of the head, face, teeth, tongue, hair, arteries, and blood, basically your appearance. The crown chakra rules the face and the head. And I put depression, insomnia, hyper insomnia, rigid thoughts, lacking in mental clarity, constant fear of alienation, poor balance or coordination, feeling ungrounded, attachment to material and earthly things, lack of intuition, lack of connection to your surrounding self and God source. I don't know what else to say, child. I don't know what else to say. I can't stress this enough. Do your shadow work. Please. Shadow work just means, like, I know it's a little fancy term we throw around in the spiritual community and all that. Taking that little title off of it, deal with yourself. When I say deal with yourself, not like you're this chore to be dealt with and you're just this burden, but take yourself into consideration lovingly, no matter how bad it hurts. And like I said, healing is gradual. Don't force yourself or throw yourself into something, but at least face it. At least acknowledge what you need to acknowledge. Blaming everybody else is not going to get you out of what you're in. I'm telling you right now. It's not. There's so many people that I can blame on my problems and how they did this to me, but I did some shit to people too that I have to be honest with, or things that I may not even know offended someone. I have to take into consideration of how other people feel as well. Right? Yeah, no, like I say this like with love and with passion and with just in awe of just how spirit, how God source works. Like I take everything that spirit tells me, I take it serious. And if it's for someone else, I have to take it even more serious because we have to be responsible. And I've learned this along my journey too, like with the spiritual thing and just in everyday walking life, to be considerate of your energy and considerate of other people with your energy. And like, as someone that does this, because I'll tell you right now, this shit didn't start off with money. Like, that was not on my mind. This was the last thing I thought I would be doing, at least right now, for a living. As far as I could, at that time, as far as I can see, I just didn't see that. I came on here because I was guided to help. And at first, I didn't want to do it because I had to come out of my own fears and insecurities and self-doubt and identity issues and, being shy. I had to come out of that. And it was such a passion for me that I just got lost in it. And there was like a lot of adjustments along the way where just certain things just didn't feel right. It didn't resonate with me anymore. I was called to stop doing certain things, being more discerning of who I help, who I work with. That all of that was, I had to learn that. And so your journey is not about you being perfected, and that's not what it's about. But to say that you are a light worker does not only exclusively mean that you're working with, like, traditionally what people look at as spiritual work, like tarot and astrology and Reiki healings and whatever else, right? That's not exclusive to that. How you show up as a light unto the world is being a light worker. And you have to be conscious of yourself in order to be that. You have to come from your heart in order to do that. Your ego cannot be there. You're not going to help anybody if you're coming from your ego. Because this ain't about self at the end of the day. Like, it really isn't just about self. It's not. That doesn't mean you just give all of yourself away without boundaries. And, that's not to say that, like, you're just to just tolerate people's bullshit. No. But it is to be selfless when need be and show up without looking for, oh, I'm doing this because I want you to like me, or I want you to love me, or because I want you to validate me, or I want fame, I want glory, I want this, I want that. It's not about that. So that mystic lipstick woman, like, let that be a testament to, like, one, I'll say two things, and maybe something else will pop up, but I'll say first, you have to really love yourself into even doing quote unquote shadow work, because as painful as it is to be honest with yourself about certain things, to have the courage to step up and show up for yourself is self-love. That's number one. So the fact that this woman just, I feel like she made spirituality her identity, but wasn't really doing the spiritual work. It was kind of like just a fancy title or label or something that was a trend, right? Second of all, to have grounds when it comes to what you're tapping into, you have to use your discernment. Your intentions have to be right always, whether you're getting into spiritual things or you're not. Your intentions always have to be right with everything that you do. You can't just fuck off in life. You cannot. Um, Anybody that's just, even like celebrities, like let's come out of the spiritual community for a second. Celebrities too, like coming off of that ego and thinking that you can just like hurt and harm everybody you come in contact with, or because you got money or because you have these fancy titles that you're exempt. You're not bigger and greater than God. Like the rug is always going to be stripped from beneath under our feet when we come from that place where we don't think with a conscience. We don't consider our own future. We don't consider the people around us and the lives around us. You're going to continue to see that. All that glitters is not gold. I'm telling you, like, we're all human at the end of the day. If we are putting things and people and places on pedestals, you're going to be disappointed every time. You are. You cannot glorify the things of this world, nor another human being. Discernment is key. Absolutely. It is. And unfortunately, like I said, not everybody taps into that. Discernment is like really like the ability to make sense and gather wisdom from things that are obscure. You really have to pay attention. Really. Like, I'll say sometimes, like, I could be shocked by certain things I overlooked about situations or people. And then I'll look back and be like, nah, there was always like a red flag. It was something there. And then, like, with certain celebrities, like, for me, I don't put nothing past anybody. Like, if you're at certain levels in that industry, like, you did some shit. There's no way you can't. This is the thing that I want to say to people that glamorize fame, or they that you may be called to those spaces or you're in that spaces and you don't really resonate with the dark energies of that whole world. Telling you, it's like you're in a lion's den. You're in a lion's den with temptation constantly. And that's why I say, like, you gotta know who you are. You have to have morals and values of yourself. You have to have principles that you stand on, to where if the devil tempts you, because this is how the devil, meaning like anything or anybody or any situation that comes in and tempts you into something that you're not meant for or meant to do, or that could be your downfall, is the devil. So like, take the horny god with the horns on the head, and it could come in the form of everything you wanted, but there's always this catch to it, to where you have to compromise yourself for it. That's not a gift from God. If you have to compromise yourself for the thing that you think that you want, you got to be careful. Yeah, people can be trained to do that. Yeah. And I feel like, from my experience, that started in my household as a child, to not trust myself. It's a dirty game in some instances. You know what I mean? But no, going back to when you're in those spaces, like I'm telling you, like if you just look, really be honest with yourself. Some celebrities, I'll look at them and I'll be like, they're so sad. Like, looking into their eyes, there's almost like nothing there sometimes. Some of them look like they're spaced out. Some of them look like they're sad. That's why some, like, I'm not even gonna say some. I feel like the majority of them drink and smoke constantly and have to be high because they're trying to escape themselves. They're escaping something, like they're just not there. They're not there anymore. And some of them have, like, I know this sounds like crazy and like like kind of scary, but no, like even some of them, I'll see like entities forming out of their face. Like, I know, like the stills, like, you know how they do like the reverse and they slow the video down and like the person is morphing and all that stuff. Like, you gotta be careful with that, because cameras, like when cameras are moving, like it will look like somebody got like a distorted face. But like just looking at them in still motion, I could see things on them and they look like they're not there. They look like they're dried. They're dried out. They look like they're sunken eyes. You can tell when a person is like spiritually being attacked, or something is like spiritually on them, because you can see it in the eyes, and even sometimes in their body weight, their facial structure, it looks sunken in. I'm seeing the person right now and I don't want to say it, but you can tell like whose spirit is like really being fed off of, or who forfeited parts of their light to get where they are. You can tell. They make it look good because they throw money up in the air in your face. They show you the jets and the vacations and all the women they got and the mansions and, you know, the fancy fancy outfits, you know, the nice shoes and the you know, all of that looks good. But strip that shit from that person and I bet you like there's some that I'm not gonna say everybody is like this. Not everybody. But I bet you the majority of them, if you stripped all that shit from them, take away their fans, just naturally as a human, like, yeah, you're gonna feel like, damn, you know, it's gonna make you question yourself. But strip away the fans, strip away the followers, strip away the endorsements, strip away the mansions, the trips, strip away all that material shit, and they're where's the identity? It's gonna be very hard to deal with yourself. It is. It's gonna be very hard. And there's some people that had the willpower and had the courage and the true honor of self. When I say honor of self, not like egotistical, like, but they love themselves enough to be like, I can walk away from all of this. Y'all asking me to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, I'm good. To the point where if I gotta work at the grocery store again, so be it. Yes, true identity is the soul. When you strip yourself of that, you always gonna feel like something's not there. You slept with this person to get ahead. You gonna feel like shit later. You were told like, oh, you're not gonna sell, you're not gonna go far unless you do X, Y, and Z. We need you to promote drugs. We need you to promote alcohol. We need you to promote a dark lifestyle. We need you to promote promiscuous sex. We need to promote women twerking all over the place and looking crazy. Like, we need you to promote that. You can't come up in here talking about you ain't gonna be no Lauryn Hill coming up in here talking about life and light and getting real with yourself. You ain't gonna be able to do that in that industry. They'll promote some of it to kind of, this is how tricky the industry is. I peep this. It's how tricky they are. They'll present you in a certain way that makes you some of them, not all of them, but some of them they do this especially with like the girls or the women. Like, they'll present them as like innocent, bubbly, cute, to kind of entice you, the viewer or the child that's watching this and looking up to these people, and then they come out and they just like slutty as fuck, whorish, or they'll have like a fake story, like, oh, I had this come up, I was poor, I came from nothing, I got shot 9 times. This, and not saying that it's not true, but like they have to promote something that gets the person like like it's attached and to resonate and feel like, oh, they're relatable. And then comes the propaganda, then comes like the real agenda. Like, it's a whole game. And that is selling your soul. Because let's say you came in with the guys that, oh, I just want to be an entertainer, I just want to write music, or I just want to act, I want to do this, and this is how I want to present myself, and this is how I want to show up. Yes, that's why we must know who we are. And going back to the identity thing, yes, amen to that. Our identities are being healed. Yep. You go in with a certain dream and goal, and you got stars in your eyes, and you want to present yourself a certain way, and then you get enticed by, or you get tempted by everything that you've ever wanted. You're going to be doing this, you're going to be doing that, and then when you get hired, you're going to be able to do that, and oh yeah, and then this is going to come to you, and you're going to have all of this, you're going to have all that, and you throw your identity out the window. I know this for a fact because I had a friend that got offered a record deal by a big record company. Fact, was told that we don't need no more. I think she said NDREs and brandies or something, like that. They told her this, like, we don't need no more of that, because she has a very soulful voice. She's from the South. So like, they told her, we don't need no more of this. We want more Rihanna's. We want more of like that type of bad girl, sexy this, and like, we don't need no more the bubblegum R&B or the soulful or the Afrocentric or whatever. We don't need that. We want more. We want to market this. And I'm not coming at nobody's neck because I partially respect, like, I feel like Sexy Red is true to who she is. She's not a gimmick, like someone pretending to be about that life, like a Lotto. I feel like pretends to be like that ratchet chick. That's not how she grew up, but that's the image she's trying to portray, right? Versus where Sexy Red really is that. But the thing is what's sad is they will promote women, and specifically I'll speak for black women and even brown women, Latino women, women of color. They'll promote that type of image. They don't really want to promote the image of class, a class act, someone that's got their clothes on for once, someone that ain't sticking their tongue out and twerking and doing all that, right? Stuff that's just for entertainment, stuff that you just do for fun, not something that should not be your identity. I'm sorry. It's not a healthy thing. And so that being promoted and encouraged is an agenda. And the image of the black woman within itself is like the laughing stock because of the stereotypical black woman. They will token that image, right? They'll token that image so they can promote that. And like someone just said in the chat, Starry Sky says trained, but I was about to say tainted. I thought you said tainted. You said trained and brainwashed, but to taint people with that. And it's sad that I feel like it's intentionally to get the youth, but it's sad that grown ass adults, grown men and grown women really think that that's something they should aspire to, and they copy that. A grown man like aspiring to be like NBA YoungBoy is sad, for real. Um, if you can look at that poor man and like that poor young man and look at him and tell like he's not there. To me, like looking at him, he's not there. Like there's something missing. It's like a light, a twinkle that's just like it ain't the lights, they're not on. They're not on. Something's not there. Um an old friend of mine used to say all the time, I think it was like a rap or something that she had or lyric where she said that basically people will sell their soul for a chain, a gold chain or diamond chain, just like shackles on your neck, like a slave. Like you're a slave to this shit. That's not like you're a slave to this shit. It's sad. You have to know who you are. Fame is not for everybody. There's people that know how to maneuver and know how to like move their way through it, but I don't even know if there's really a way that you could get past certain things. Exactly. Birthright for a bowl of stew. You're forfeiting everything that you're truly about. And this is the thing why I feel like it might be easy for some of them to forfeit, quote unquote, their soul, their true identity, their true calling and purpose, is because they never knew what that was in the first place. They didn't take the time to know themselves to even get to that. I don't care how old they are. Yeah, before radio and TV. Yeah. There's large scales of this and there's lower scales of this in everyday life that you can forfeit yourself. One of the ways that I see all the time is the men and the women that we choose to be in relationship with. That's a form of, if you're not discerning and you're not honoring and loving yourself and knowing what your worth is, you will forfeit what's meant for you and settle for something that is not. Every time. Every time. That's part of it. We live and we learn. I just feel like the right now, like the energy of the collective is like you're going to sink or swim, meaning you'll learn to swim or you're just gonna say, I give up, fuck it, and just don't. Or you'll try to like cling on to something or someone else to keep you afloat, and you cannot do that. You can't do it. You cannot do it. Um and this whole spirituality stuff is like the I feel like it has its pros and its cons where it is meant to inspire, it is meant to get you to, encourage or to pull you to tap into yourself. But then there's that side where people will cling onto it if you're not open to real, true healing, you'll cling on it for dear life to be the antidote that you need. And it's never going to be that, or to give you identity, or to find a way to latch on and to exploit. So, I mean, I'm trying to find the right words to like really like express what I'm getting, because it's it's bigger than that. Like, spirituality is not what we like. This is an aspect. They're tools. The tarot is a tool. Like, it does have sacred symbols, and someone sat there with their intuition and tapped into this. They were able to write down imagery that will help you unlock your subconscious mind and help you to tap into putting a divine message together. Like, it's strategic. It's all, crystals and all of that. These are divine technologies from the earth. Whatever, right? But at the end of the day, your soul, your connectivity to spirit is what spirituality is. It's not the tool. It's not the titles. It's not the, I'm an astrologer and I'm a this and I'm a that and I know this and I know that. That's a part of spirituality. True spirituality is connected with your connection with spirit, the world within yourself and the world around you, how you connect with that on deep depths and levels. But like, yeah, spirituality, like spiritual tools, spiritual systems, certain deities, certain energies and pantheons and stuff like that, like some shit you just shouldn't be messing with unless you like are called to it, or you're ready for that, or it might be something you'll never be, something you should never mess with. Like me, I'm never gonna fuck with no Ouija board. I know better than that. That's not something I want to open my spirit up to. I'm just not. I ain't doing that. As much as I was like intrigued by the supernatural as a kid, I knew better not to fuck with that shit. I just knew it. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not tapping into no demons. Like, as much as I love the story of Solomon, and like Solomon is one of my favorite characters in the Bible, how he had governance over jinns and demons and stuff, I ain't fucking with it. I'm not doing that. If I'm called to something, it's because I'm called to it, but like, I'm not doing that. I'm just not. And some people might be able to do that. That ain't for me. They'll tell you that shit ain't for me. I ain't doing it. You know? Um, I know I'm not bigger than God. I'm not gonna sit up here, oh whoa, I'm a God, I'm my own God. I can girl, I get it, but I know better. I'm not a fool. I know better. Like, I ain't bigger than source, God. And yes, spirituality is like a religion for some people. If we're not careful, it can be that. I know there has been moments where, like I said, I made it an identity. It was never meant to be that. That's not what it is. So people, that's why, like, the astrologer pages and the tarot pages and the witchy pages are popular, because they are the walking, like, they look the part. Not saying that every single one of them is phony, but a lot of it, I'll tell you, is bullshit. It is. It's very commercial. It's very yeah, it's like commercial, mainstream, like, and it's like, no, no. People are so like drawn to that, like the bullshit, and like sometimes I'll be like, kind of like queasing inside of myself, like with certain things that I post, because I know, like, because things have been oversaturated. Like, using the word chosen is like oversaturated, or using the word narcissist is saturated, or gaslit, shadow work, and all these words is like cringy now because it's so sensationalized and commercialized. As sorry Sky says, like, commercialized. It's corny. It is, like, because you see so much of it and it comes off like some movie or something. Like, that's why I feel like movies and TVs kind of mess up the whole thing of like spirituality, especially like tarot and stuff, and the word witch and all that. Like it's so woo woo, like boiling trouble, and if the death card, like you're gonna die, and that's not even what the death card means. Like that's not even what it means. But when you're watching the movies and the TV, it's just like, I don't know if I'm going to do this. And then like you got these commercial people, oh, love and light. It's just, and people eat that shit up. Why? Because we like image. We like shiny shit. All humans do. We like shit that just glimmers and shines and it looks like the real deal, whether it's because of the follower count or because the person looks like the part. And you better be careful with that shit. You better be careful with that shit. Okay? Like you sitting here because somebody got blonde hair and blue eyes and they like got some crystals in their background and all that shit that you can just trust them. No. Or any image of a person. Like, oh, they have dreads or they have afros and they got ankhs on and they have crystals and beads in their hair and stuff. Oh, I can trust them. Like, no. Not without, discernment. Not without discernment. And not everybody's for you. They don't have to be bad people, or their intentions may not be bad. They could really be on mission and doing everything that they're guided and supposed to do, but they may not be for you. You got to know the difference. Like, you can't just be clicking on every reading just because it says Scorpio or it says Leo or something on it. You can't just click on every motherfucking video just because it says that or it's got some fancy title. Like, use your discernment. Am I led to watch this? Do I really need to watch this? And I mean, you got free will to click on it and be like, oh, this probably ain't for me, or let me skim through and see if I stumble across what I need to hear. But I see it like people are obsessed with tarot. Like, I be feeling the energy. I be feeling like my energy being pulled on and shit. I'm just like, I can't come on here today. I can't do it. I want to sit down and do a reading, but it's like, no, it's not meant right now. Sit your ass down. People are obsessed with like getting information, but what are you doing with it? That's the thing. Like, I used to be obsessed with like watching law of attraction videos and stuff like that, and in some cases I was applying it for my own life. And like for like one of my favorite is Neville Goddard like had me in the chokehold back in like 2015 when I first discovered his work. And it was helpful at the time, like to manifest myself out of situations. It was helpful. But when I started getting all obsessed with like spiritual things and all this spiritual knowledge, it's like, well, you got to apply the shit, hun. Like, you can't just overindulge and not apply the shit. That's the problem with tarot, and I do not want to be that person. Giving a reading to somebody, I want you. That's why I open up to what spirit wants me to say, because I know it's going to be guidance there. Yeah, I might be telling you what's going on and giving you the gist of the energy and what's around you and all of that, or what's the deal with this and how you and this person's energy are connecting or how it's expressing itself. But at the end of the day, though, you have to take something from it that's going to be helpful to you to change your circumstance situation. If we're just watching tarot just to hear our future and how does someone feel about us and how do people view us and this and that, shit that at the end of the day, like, lightweight does not matter in comparison to how are you getting yourself out of it, though. Okay, this person feels X, Y, and Z, but okay, well, what you gonna do about it? Is it something that you need to do anything about? Is it someone that you need to like really evaluate? Do you even really want this person? Or are they respecting you? Do they value you? If you're asking about how people care, like what people think about you and how they view this and that about you, is it going to be something that is constructive in some kind of way for you? Like, what does it matter? Like, it can be entertaining, it can be insightful, but what are you going to do with that, though? What you going to do with it? Watching tarot readings all day, just mindlessly and endlessly all day, when you're not gathering anything of value that's going to help you out of it, it just feels soothing and good. And we have to be careful with that, because I've done it. There was a point in time where I didn't have no like discernment to discern what was for me and what was not, and I would just listen to shit and just listen and watch the videos and just listen and just And I started to become obsessed with knowing my life. How is it going to how is it going to pan out? What's this month going to be like? It's helpful to know to an extent, but if it means that you're just going to be idle and you're not living your life, you're not processing the information and doing anything with it, what the fuck does it matter? Why are you watching it? If I'm not helping you anymore, y'all free to click off. Y'all free to like unsubscribe. You free to never get a reading from me again. If it means like I'm not helping you, okay, or you just don't, that's not where you're at. I want to be of service to help people. I know that I'm not going to be the one that is the one that's going to snap everything into place for you. You got, again, self-work. So when you get a reading from somebody that you apply, okay, how can I apply this to help me? I got to take this shit, like as Starry said, you got to focus on the inward. It's okay to ask how homie feel about you. He might have been acting funny. She might be acting funny. This person, you just met them. You want to know. I don't know. My intuition, I kind of feel good about them, but I want to know. I want to see from another perspective. That might click something that's already there inside of you to be like, okay, yeah, I kind of felt that. Or yeah, I know. Now I know what I need to do. Or is it just you just sitting here hoping that somebody's going to tell you, yeah, this is how they feel. And they're going to do this. And they're going to do that. And this is what's going to happen. If that's all you're looking for in a reading, you're in it for the wrong reason. You're not getting anything out of it. You're not getting anything out of it. It's entertaining to sit and click on a video and be like, oh, this person's in love with you and you're so beautiful. And everyone just looks at your beauty as like in awe and you're amazing. And okay, thank you for the ego boost. But now, okay, are you going to apply that shit? Be like, you know what? I am the shit. Regardless of how these men or women see me, I am the shit. I am. Okay, that was flattering. Yeah, I do love art and creativity. I'm glad someone notices and appreciates it. Cool, moving on. But like, what does it matter? You know, this person's doing spell work on you. If that's what you really feel, you really believe, okay, be proactive. What you gonna do? You gonna pray about it? You gonna wish them well? Like, okay, bitch, you gonna try it and see what happens to you? Like, okay, well, like, what's the point? The karmic is doing this and the karmic is doing that. Okay, in some instances, like, yeah, you do need to kind of like shut somebody down in the spirit realm. Like, bitch, you tried it, or bitch, like you lightweight. Like, okay, that's funny, and then move on. But if it's something like you're obsessed over, like, who gives a fuck? Like, really, who gives a fuck? At the end of the day, they're karmic or whatever titles like we want to put on it. Like, they're a toxic person right now. This woman is toxic and they're in a toxic situation. There's nothing you can do. This person is going to stay in that karmic situation or whatever we like to call it as long as they feel they need to or until they get the lesson. There's nothing you can do about that. And then oftentimes these people that we talk about, oh, it's my divine masculine, it's my divine feminine, they karmic too, is a motherfucker. They wouldn't be dealing with no karmic person if they weren't karmic themselves, quote unquote karmic. If they weren't if that person wasn't toxic, they wouldn't be dealing with that toxic person too. So like, you know, not saying that people can't change and grow, but like if that's not where they're at right now, why are you wasting your time? Because that's what you're doing. You're wasting your time. I know that word karmic. And then it's kind of fucked up because karmic within itself does not have to be a bad, like the definition of karmic is not necessarily a bad situation. It's the cause and effect of a thing. So if you're a trauma based person and you're a toxic based motherfucker, like the cause and effect of that is the karmic effect is like it's going to be more trauma and more like drama and just toxic shit. If you do well and you do good, that's what's going to come back to you. So the word karmic within itself, like only subject to toxic motherfuckers, is unfortunate. Let's just say counterfeit people, like people that are not for you or people that are toxic. Toxic partner. I like that better. And even that's going to sound cringy probably in like another 5 years. Like your toxic partner, I could just imagine just hearing that and it just sounds annoying. But like, in hindsight, tarot is a dope thing. Don't get me. I love some y'all like. in order to do this, I gotta love it, right? But the art of tarot is dope to me. There's so many layers to tarot. It's not really about fortune telling. Like, that's part of it. I feel like that came very like way later, but it's a journey within the soul. It's so dope. Like, I have so many tarot books that like go into it and the system and all that of tarot. There's so many ways you can tap in and utilize the tarot that it's endless. It's not just for entertainment and for fortune telling and just all that shit. That's surface level shit. Like, it's way deeper than that. It can be a prophetic tool, most definitely. Yes. Just the imagery and the cards alone and your own intuition and your own gifting that you add into it makes it even more magical. Definitely. Yes. It is everything. Like, it's dope. I love it. Yeah. If it's all about the profit, like financial, then that's I for me, like, I feel like I sell myself short. Like, the prices that some of these motherfuckers be charging for a reading just to tell you some shit you want to hear is like, it's foul. I can't even put a price on my gift, but like, honestly, to gatekeep my gift and my energy, I would only read for a select few people. I wouldn't even want my gift to be prostituted like that to a whole bunch of people. I would have to charge a lot just based off of the energy that I'm giving you and the amount of guidance and information that I could give for a person that would really, really like take it in, um, to discern it, dissect it, to reflect upon it. You know what I mean? Like, how can I apply this in a positive way to my life? Like, how does this reflect what's going on with me? Does it resonate? Does it match? Like, instead of just wanting to hear something and just go on about life and do the same shit all over again, like, mm-mm, no, mm-mm, nope. Because people don't like get what they need to get and hear what they need to hear in due time, no matter where it's coming from. And that's why spirit will use human vessels to be a messenger. And it does not have to be a person that's so called a psychic or a seer or a prophet or a tarot. It doesn't have to be through just those spaces, those vessels. It could be a stranger on the street that God can use. And sometimes it's the most least expected person. That's why I say, like, don't be so caught up in the fancy shit because you're missing out. The people that don't give a fuck about that, or not so much, they don't put too much investment into how they look. Not saying like you shouldn't present yourself well, but you know what I'm saying. Like, a person that's like, I don't give a fuck. This is what I'm getting. This is the message. Or a friend or a family member that's not sugarcoating shit for you, and they're gonna tell you what it is straight up with no tracer. They care about you, or they're coming from a pure place. If it's all about all that like that Disney bubblegum pop shit, you're not getting anything out of that, I promise you. And there's so much of that saturated online. It's crazy. Like, it's so corny at this point. Like, just looking at some of it, I can't digest it. I have to keep hitting not interested, not interested, not interested. I said this 1,000 times in the past. The people that I stumble across with the least amount of followers be the ones that be hitting on something every time. Like, oh, and I see why this person doesn't have that many followers, because they're not over here like being bubblegum and being that, this and that. People pleasing is not going to get us anywhere in this life. It won't, and I've learned that. Like, people pleasing is really not. It's a big thing. Like, I started my channel off as a baby to my gift and tapping into it, and so I feel like, because I was talking about twin flames at the time, I attracted a lot of people that were really in that, and probably at the same stage where I was, where I didn't know my worth and my value, and thought that it was all about coming into union with somebody and it's going to be this perfect thing, and this runner check. Like, trauma bonding, limerence, all that shit in abandonment issues and wounds. And then when I got to that place where I'm like, this shit, like my spiritual team was like, no, no more of this twin flame shit. That served a purpose, but we're not doing that. Let's leave that alone. And then it progressed further, into going more into myself and like the self-love. I started to notice that my messages changed more to really diving into self-love and healthy loving relationships and what that looks like, and that twin flame dynamic, like the way that it's commercialized and like again romanticized and sensationalized. All the miles is just how it is, like just it's not helpful to the collective. I feel like it is an energy that, like a catalytic energy that people, like a kind of like a gateway where you awaken to some shit within yourself. Some people get stuck in it. Some people just, they don't know how to differentiate between it's time to separate from certain things, or this no longer resonates, or it's time to evolve a little bit. It's time to go within self. It's time to really love self. Some people don't reach that point. They're still externalizing their experience onto another person, thinking that that person is going to be their everything that changes their world, and all of their problems are just going to go away because, oh, I got into union, or I have a so-called twin flame. And that is a lie. Realistically, you have to be fair with yourself and fair with others. Would you want to be in a relationship with somebody that makes you their whole existence and happiness and joy? They have no purpose without them, and I can't be without our mission. Like, I'm not saying this to criticize or be rude, because like there was a time where I was fed into that, and that is not healthy to another person. So if you think about it from a different perspective, flip that onto yourself. How would you feel? How would you feel about that? Like someone doing that to you, it doesn't feel good, doesn't feel right. You probably would be turned the fuck off by that. So you have to be fair to the people in your life as well. Yes, you deserve love, but until you're at a place where you really appreciate other people and you're considerate of how you treat people and how you show up in relationships, not just romantic ones, you're not going to be able to withstand in a so-called divine union. Because if you're not operating in divinity, meaning like you're not like perfect, and like religion, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that. Like, you know, the difference between what's right and what's wrong, and how you treat people and what's wrong and what's right. You know what I mean? When you're coming from a place of love and consideration, you know the difference as an adult. So if you're not governing in light and like in your divinity, like I said, you're going to be toxic to someone else. And that's not fair to people. It's not fair. You want someone to show up for you and like come correct and to love and be that, right? So why would you afflict someone else with your pain and your drama and your inability to sustain healthy, you know, a healthy love for self or joy within yourself? Like you're able to generate joy and happiness with or without somebody. So if you're not able to do that, that's not fair to the other person. They cannot be your sole source and your only source of joy and happiness. That's not going to happen. It's not going to take away the pain. I promise you. It might validate something inside of you, like, okay, I have a partner. That's good. That's a part of my life that I feel like it's clicked in. But if you're not right within yourself, you're still like, there's still going to be a part of you that is, you're still going to have issues. It's not going to go away just because you have so-called a twin flame or you're in a divine, you like, it's not going to work. It's a part of evolution. Like, some things will resonate with you for a time, and some things, like after that, it's on to, this is where I'm at with myself. This is what I've discovered. This is what I've learned. This is what I feel like works for me, and it doesn't work for me. Like, that's a part of, if you're just still at the same place that you are and you're still externalizing your experience on everything and everybody, and your wants and your needs to center around something outside of you, you're not really living. You're not growing either. Growth can look like, riches or offers and opportunities and those fancy titles, or I have a house and we have a family and we have cars and we go on vacation. That's not growth. Like, I mean, to an extent, yeah. But like I said in another video, material things are not hard to obtain. They're really not. What's hard to obtain is the things of the internal, the inner self is something that's not easily obtained, because that would mean you would have to really go within and face yourself. You would have to slow down and pay attention. You would have to take consideration of, and not a lot of people are willing to do that. We live in a physical world first. So like our physical senses gotta, like, everything has to be experienced. The spirit realm exists in a space that's kind of invincible. It's something you have to feel, you have to tap into to make yourself aware of. And that's why it's not so easy for everybody to do that. Human experience is beautiful, but it's also challenging too. You know, even the challenges, you can find beauty in that. But it's all in like our perspectives and shit, pretty much at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, just going back to the original topic, like, just what it all sums down to, honestly, is you have to know your light. Your light is not going to come from validation. It's not going to come from, oh, I'm a tarot reader, I'm a spiritual person, or oh, I know something about chakras and all this fancy shit. It don't mean nothing if you don't apply it to your life, and it's not empowering you or others. Like, what good is it? And it's not to say that you have to live your life trying to change people. The world will change when you change, because those that get it, that are meant to get it or resonate, and they want the change and the light within them to shine and tap into that and to be a positive force, it's going to be their own choice. It's not something that you can force on other people. It's not something, and I learned that as well. You have to allow people to live and learn on their own. Um, all you can do is live your life in consideration and with prudence, to kind of, like, how I explain this. Yes, be the change you want to see. You have to do that. Like Michael Jackson said, like, you got to talk to the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror. If you want to make a change, take a look at yourself and make the change. That's real shit. It's not just a song. That's real shit. Take away the messenger, because some of you guys might be like, oh, Michael Jackson's a pedophile, like all this shit. Take away that. Separate that and, like, discern the real from just that shit. That is real. It is. It's a hard concept. You know how triggered I used to be when I would hear, like, my friends tell me, like, Chenoa, the reason why this is happening to you and why you're at where you're at, it's the way that you perceive yourself. Realest shit ever. Accountability is a motherfucker. It is. Because you would have to admit to yourself, and your ego was going to be like, bitch, we ain't wrong. We're right. And this person deserves to get what they get, and this, and that. Like, your ego is going to fight you on that shit. It's going to fight you. But if you open your heart up and you, like, really, like, listen to spirit and tap into your heart space, it's going to free you of your shackles of your mind. Like, when you progressing and when you, like, your heart is open, when you can forgive someone that fucked you over, or someone that has offended you, and you can look with compassion, like, that person has their own issues, or maybe this person, they had it wrong, but they got me fucked up. They ain't, no, but I'm not going to hold offense to it. I'm going to let it go and move on. That's how you've healed. Hey, sis. Yeah. There's so, like, yes, sis, that's real. Like, there's so many tarot readers online. Like, it's crazy. I remember when I could count, not even on my hand, maybe, like, it was nowhere near 100 readers on. It was like way under, beneath 100 readers online when I started, for real. Like, there was I noticed it was a lot of angel card readers. For some reason, I think it's because of Dorian Virtue. era, but even then it wasn't that many of them. It wasn't that many. I can only name like a handful, and some of them are still around, still doing their thing. Some of them have lost their mind, and like it's sad. Like one of them that I liked, that happened to her. But I feel like just, not to like come at anybody because everybody has their journey to live. I feel like a lot of people are going to figure out that this is not for them. And some of those people that I've noticed, like, oh, I'm new age to Jesus. Jesus is like a comfort zone for a lot of people. I've noticed, and speaking for myself, because I was conditioned into Christianity as a young child. Like my family did not come from that. That like going way back, like my ancestors, like my big mamas and like grandpas and stuff like that, they did not grow up in Christianity. They were not conditioned to that. My mom, her mother, at some point in her life, later in her life, like her midlife, got into Christianity. That was not something that we were conditioned. That was not my family's thing. So like when we were born, I was born into the shit and baptized and all this and some more shit. So that that whole thing is like a whole nother topic. But when people get into like new age stuff, as they call it, new age, when this shit really is old age, this is stuff that predates a lot of Christianity and predates Christianity, period. Most of it, yes. Um, and the Bible within itself, like I'm not gonna downplay Christianity. I shouldn't say Christianity, but the biblical text and the characters of the Bible. Like um I'm not going to like demonize that, because there's still substance and there's still relevance and there's still divinity in those things, like that you can find if you know what you're really looking at. Um and how to discern and how to decode some of those things. But Christianity within itself is a fucking program on this planet. It really is. So like all these new age people, like they're tapping into stuff that they probably had no business, or they didn't have the right intentions, like whatever it was, like it was an escapism thing, or it was a trend for them, or they were just tapping into stuff without discernment what they needed to. That within itself, if you're like messing with stuff and you start having bad experiences or whatever triggers you, you gonna flee and you gonna run back to Christ, to the what they said Christ was and the Savior and all. You're gonna run to that because it feels safer there, and you're just finding yourself in another loop of, oh, I can't do this anymore, and I gotta be that, and oh, I'm scared, and it's gonna put you back in that loop again. And some people have to go back to that place for positive reasons too, because I feel like they might need their prophets within themselves. Their prophecy may not be meant for the tarot people that are into the tarot or the spiritual community. Their voice might be needed for the Christian community. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't always have to be a negative thing. I feel like everybody has a unique story. Not everything has to be demonized, but I did notice an influx of people, oh, new age to Jesus. Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about, sis. It was her. Um, yeah, a lot of them, like, I see why. I get it. I told y'all, like, sometimes I don't want to do this on here no more. Not saying that I don't want to read or I don't want to help people, whatever, however I'm guided to. But like YouTube is like, I don't want to be on here sometimes. Oh, yeah. It happens. Demons are on here too. Like demons don't want to hear truth messages. Like, not saying that the people that come on with like the little fluff channels and stuff, they don't get trolls, because YouTube has trolls on there. People are just bored. But there's people that literally like will specifically attack certain people on YouTube, either because they're triggered by the message or because they're just demons sent to derail or deter people from their path. But you cannot. Like, you cannot be scared because that's going to come with the territory. You can't be all personal, like, either. Like, oh my God, taking it personal. Like, it is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it happens. It happens. And again, it goes back to the identity thing. Like, you have to know who you are and why you're here, what you're called to, and your purpose. Like, it's going to get discouraging at times because you're human, but you can't dwell in that. You're not going to grow if you cannot face adversity and uncomfortability. You're never going to excel past that. But like, just as a whole too, like, just the spiritual, quote unquote, spiritual community, like, there needs to be unity in that as well. It's a lot of discord. There's a lot of like ego in it. Um, there's enough room for everybody to shine because we all have our own unique gifts and callings. And some things might be similar to each other, and that's where we can collaborate and work and like build as a like, that's how you defeat darkness, is when you collab with other people. Like, you know how to come together and like put your powers and put your thinking caps on together, and you move in that unity. But as long as you're pissing on each other, like a pissing contest, oh, I'm more powerful, oh this and oh that, and oh, this person ain't all of that, and this person is this. Like, if you worried about like tearing other people down to like put more glory on yourself, like, that's foolishness. Yeah, I do believe that there's power in community. Like, one of my orchids fell. I'm just gonna put it up here with Archangel Michael, but um, it's everywhere. Like Twitter, especially. Oh my God, like Twitter, like the wars on there in the spiritual community is just too much. Like, it's disgusting. It's like too much. It is crazy. It's 11:11 here, by the way, y'all. But if we can just all come together and put our thinking caps on, stop worrying about bullshit that don't matter, we would be way far than we are. Just saying. And I have to speak on this too. So, my white fam folks on here, don't get offended. If it offends you, you might want to check yourself. But I'm gonna say this. Um, I don't like the gatekeeping and the, like, this is where it goes back to the face of what spirituality should look like from this commercial viewpoint or standpoint, where this is the poster child we want to represent spirituality, and where like some people will try to kind of gatekeep certain spiritual spaces and groups and things like that, and keep certain people of color because they feel like, oh, you're too ghetto, or you can't, you're undermining somebody's gift because of how you feel they should look. That's not cool. um that whole racism shit is in spirituality too. It is. Even in black spaces too. Like, oh, you can't. And I'll say this with respect of certain African spiritualities, that is not for everybody. Those things, you either got to be called or initiated into it. So like, trying to just say, oh, because I want to do this and that, I'm just gonna do it, and then you gonna get the backlash of it. So I do understand gatekeeping in that sense, culturally, and respecting spiritual traditions. I get that. But if it's a thing of like, oh, we're not gonna have a sister circle with black women or Latina women or Asians or whatever, you're trying to just keep it all white. That the racism, and that's the ego. That's not spirituality. You're in your ego to talk about all the namastes and the oneness, and you say all those lingos, but you don't mean that from your heart. Check yourself. Check yourself, okay? Yeah. And sometimes, like, yeah, I also, sis, I hate to say it, but I have to say it real quick. Oh my God, I feel bad for saying this, but I gotta be real. Some black readers on here, like, they feel like they have to present themselves a certain way, one or two ways, code switching their voices. I'm just saying, to appeal to other people. Again, selling yourself short and trying to fit rather than just being you. Some of the code switching is a little too much. Then there's the like, I gotta be ghetto girl. What's the tea? This person, this person over here is doing this, and these bitches over here, they think that all that stuff is theatrical. Like, I get it sometimes, like the 𝗥𝗲𝗄𝗿 is fun because I'm goofy. Y'all let me know sometimes I be going off the handles on my readings. It's cool. Let me know. Like, sometimes I get it. Like, it's entertaining. But like the ghetto, the theatrics, and this, they want to lick your booty hole, and oh my god, and like, it's just like, sis, like, just stop. Like, some of it is too much. I'm telling you. Like, yes, be your authentic self, but like, I feel sometimes like, for the messages to be clear and accurate, like, our energy got to be at a certain place to receive that frequency. Like, if we're all up in, like, you got to take your flesh out of it for a second. Let's be real. It's not saying that you got to be, greetings, namaste, everybody, love and light to you. And that might be somebody's real vibe. Yeah, right? But just govern your ego a little bit better. Okay? Just saying. Just a little bit better. It's entertaining. I get it. But I'll tell you what you're going to keep attracting. You're going to attract people that got that ghetto mentality. Okay? You're going to keep attracting people that ain't really out to do their soul work. I bet you they're in cycles. They probably laying up with Tyrone right now. 𝗥𝗲𝗄𝗿. If anybody's name is Tyrone and 𝗥𝗲𝗄𝗿, don't take offense to it. But I couldn't find no other black names out of my head. Anywho, you're still doing that. And you talking about some side chick that they dealing with, and you watching these readings, and like, you're gonna keep attracting that type of vibration. And I've learned that, like, selling myself short, I've learned, like, I can attract some shit that I would prefer not to have in my experience. You have to be your authentic self, and being your authentic self doesn't mean like, this is, I'll put in perspective like this, because I think y'all gonna be like, well, you need to lighten up, and you need to, let me put this in perspective. If you're going to a job interview, I bet you ain't coming in there with no Chinese slipper slides with your bonnets on, or your you ain't coming in there with no tracksuits and sneakers and gold chains and gold teeth. You're not going into an interview. I bet you $1 million you're gonna put on a nice suit, or a nice button up and some slacks, or a nice pencil skirt and a button up shirt or something, a blazer. You're going to come in there professional. So like, when you're doing a reading, you can be your authentic self at the interview and laugh and, show your personality, but some of that shit you got to keep at home and out of the way. Right? Same when you go into a church, you go into a temple. You're going to be respectful in that temple. You ain't going to be yelling all loud and period in the middle of the sermon. Yes, period, God, yes. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. So like, when you're doing readings, it's okay to, like, have that little ratchet real quick come out. But if you just and this bye. Me personally, I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to hear it either. Just as I don't want to hear it and love and light. And I'm just going to tell you what you want to hear, because I don't want you to unsubscribe. It's okay in the world, and you're special, you're chosen, and don't forget, it's okay. Life is just going to be handed to you. No. Beautiful message, yes. Beautiful. But there's nothing, like, no shift, no provoked, nothing there. People, like, majority of people that watch tarot readings, they just want to be entertained. They want to be validated. They want to have the world go their way and things to be handed to them. That's the majority of viewers. And that might be a little, like, off the handles and a little bit like, oh bitch, you're just generalizing everybody. I mean, I'll just say, from my perspective, people want to be entertained based off of what gets the most views. And I did this. I know for a fact motherfuckers just want to be entertained. What was that video? This video got the most likes I've ever had in like the last 3 or 4 years. Let me check this shit. I don't even know where the numbers are right now. This little reading I did that was kind of like them little entertainment videos of like, how does, what was it? Something about how does your person view your social media or some shit like that. Let me see. What was it? Was it alive? I think it was alive. Let me see. Where is it? I don't even remember. What was the name? I don't even remember. Child. That wasn't it. I don't even know. Did I skip it? There's no way I skipped it. But again, my eyesight is fucked up. So hey. Yeah. So I posted, how will your future spouse view your appearance to social media, blah, 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 X, Y, and Z. That got 2.1K views. The most views I've gotten in I don't know how long. And hey sis. Yes. I appreciate you being on here too, sis. Thank you. When I seen that, I was like, what the fuck? But hey, it's entertaining. As opposed to other videos that might be helpful. Nobody wants to hear that shit. People like to be entertained. For the most part. Tarot is entertainment for people. And I know we have to say that legally because you got to be discerning and like you have to make your own free will choices. We got to put the whole disclaimer, this is for entertainment only. Hey, yeah. But like realistically, you know, people just come on here for entertainment. They don't want that. They just, they're just taking it in and just, okay, this is what it is. And then I'm gonna watch another motherfucker and I'm gonna click on this one and you're in a loop. If you're gonna watch tarot, like look for something that's going to like motivate you, inspire you, encourage you to change or to work on yourself, even if it's something that you need to hear. Because if you're just looking for readers to tell you how great you are, you're never gonna grow. Yes, Mr. Archangel Michael. Like literally, you're going to be in a cycle and a loop. If all you're looking to do is just be entertained and be appeased and to just be in that little box that's comfortable to you. And sometimes it's not even that you're addicted to readings that tell you how great you are. Sometimes you're addicted to hearing how bad other people are, how they're not as good as you, or they're toxic and they're this, or, this person is like, if that's what, like, go watch Love and Hip Hop. Just have a field day with them toxic shows, watch a Zeus Network for the toxicity, like, or Mob Wives or something. Oh shit, no, that's my show. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's a little toxic too. It is. Matter of fact, go watch Dirty Short, something, whatever toxic, dirty TV. You might as well do that. If you're not looking to tarot to help you and guide you, or confirm, or give you revelation, or give you knowledge and wisdom of yourself or what you need to do, you're wasting your motherfucking time. You're wasting your time. It's not easy to sell a story with tarot. It's not. It's not easy, or it's not hard to pull some cards and like read off the rip off of a generalized meaning or universal meaning of what a tarot card means and then read it to a person. And it very well could still be accurate. But the thing is this, if there's no soul or no spiritual guidance really coming from the person, they're not tapped in, like, you got to be able to discern that shit too. I'm telling you guys, like, as a reader, and some people are baby readers in a sense, like they're still learning their gifts. So I'm not going to like go too hard on everybody, but for some, they're like bullshitting you. And I see a lot of it. I'm just telling you. And one of the biggest bullshit reads are pick a card. But you gotta like use your ear discernment, like to know not just because it doesn't resonate with you that it's bullshit. Not every reading is gonna resonate with you. Not every person is the messenger for you. Hey Ethan. um, you listen to the shit. Yeah, because Ethan, you know, you be like Ethan, he reads too. Ethan does readings that like he says stuff that might be uncomfortable. Like a reader that can tell you something that's not light and fluffy, you know they're the real deal. They're not gonna lie to you. If they see something that's like not for you, they'll explain it or they'll lovingly call you out and be like, no, you know, this is something that's not for you, or you know what I mean? Versus just like giving you and feeding you fairy tales and bullshit. You can tell. I'm telling you, like all you gotta do is just really tap into yourself. You will feel it. Unless you're in the mindset of you're just watching it mindlessly and it's bullshit, or you're entertained, or you like the title, or you like what you're hearing. Because I used to watch readings for comfort. There was a time where like I was depressed about my love life and I would watch these readings in abundance, and it was like low key soothing, but I knew that it wasn't constructive. They weren't telling me nothing I needed to hear. Yeah, you'll appreciate that shit in the future. There have been times like when I first started out, I did not want people to be hurt. So I would, you know, tell them like, yeah, this guy is not really for you, but maybe they'll come. Like, no, you can't do that. You cannot do that. That is not helpful. One of the biggest things that like that I appreciate this. I did a bridal shower part, or not a bridal shower. Yeah, I think it was a bridal shower. It wasn't her bachelorette party yet. I got booked to do, hey Tiffany, I got booked to do a bridal party, and I read for all the like the bridal party, and one of the girls said that you did like a, I can't believe I even did this. I think she said I did like $1 reading. Like I pulled a card for $1. Maybe I did. But she was like, I didn't have a person at the time, but I still got one anyway. And you pulled and you said that you didn't pick up on anybody. Like you're not sensing anybody around me or that I was dealing with anyone. She said that's how I knew like at that point like you was for like you were real. Not saying that I get it right all the time. Like I might be accurate 99% of the time, and sometimes it might be 97 and just might not resonate all the time, or may not come to pass yet, or there's things that you have to do. Like this is the thing I do not like when people get readings and they ask about a person and they have already a fixed notion of that situation. They're not going into it with, I'm open to hear what spirit has to say. They're going in specifically with the person on their mind or an outcome in their mind or how the reading should go. And when it doesn't happen, they get upset. And then they want to say, oh, you lied and you're wrong. No, you came on here with a notion and intention and you were not open to what spirit wanted you to know. So if you're asking about your love life and you're not asking about a specific person, but you got a specific dude or woman on your mind, you get mad. No, mm-mm, no, no. You have to be real with yourself. I would not want to be lied to every time I sit down and take in some spiritual information. That within itself will drive you crazy, because if you don't have no discernment and you watching a reading that says, oh, this guy is your twin flame, or this person is your twin flame, or you're going to end up with this person, and you have it in your mind that that's your person, you're not discerning that spirit that might not be the reading for you, or spirit might be tapping into a person that is for you, but because you have this specific person on your mind and it doesn't come to pass, or this person ends up with somebody else or marries someone else, now you're just like, you're devastated. Oh, this reader lied. No, discernment, baby. Discernment. Hell, I've had to refund some people too. Shit. All money's not good money, and not all clientele is good for you. Like I learned that. Shit. No. Mm-mm. You live and you learn. Like when I first started, I was so like naive. I was naive as fuck. So naive. Just get pushed and used and abused, taken advantage of. Some people didn't even pay me. Like they finessed. Like I was so like naive and just like, oh, you can pay me after the reading, and people got free readings for me and never pay me back. Like that's how foul some people are, and that's why I'm like, Spirit, don't send that type of energy to me no more. Like I'm not open for everybody. No, 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 thank you. No, played. I used to get played. Just taking anybody that wanted a reading, like, yeah, I'll help you. Whole time this person's an energy vampire. They got motives and intentions, or they just want a free reading, or you know what I mean, or just to like start some shit with you, like just all kind of shit. No, no, thank you. Yeah, you have to learn. You really do. And I'm gonna say it again. It goes back to like how much you value yourself. Like you have to know what you're worth. Because if I would have known, but and I was like I said, at that time I was like learning to value myself. Like I was externalizing my experience. I was people pleasing. I wanted to please the people. That's not self-love, to just like, because you're trying to win people's validation and trust and love by, okay, I'll just give and give and give. Like you don't perform for love. You don't perform for people that are really for you. You just be your authentic self. Yes, be like respectful, be considerate of people, but that's not how you gain real connections that way. Not every client, not every viewer is for you. Yeah. Yeah, you have to. Trust your intuition more is trusting yourself more. You have to. Even if at the time it doesn't make sense. Like, if it doesn't make sense to you, then don't discount it just because you don't have all the facts on the surface. But if something just like don't feel right, or you just feel led to like pull back and withdraw, then by all means do that. But to be honest and to be real, like going back to what I said, like this isn't to bash people. There's people that don't know yet, they're learning, and there's people that know better. And people that know better, it's like cautionary tale, like, you know, do better. Yeah, yeah, it is. Self-love and self-care is it is essential for your mental health, because like I said, self-love isn't just like the bubble baths and the getting your nails done and spa treatments and splurging on yourself, but the true self-love is when you can sit with yourself and consider where you're at with yourself, check yourself when need be. um you know what I mean? Like make good decisions for yourself, consider the world around you and the people around you. That's self-love. And that's how you get your mental health intact. The Me and Ethan had this one. She was like using. I don't even know how she found Ethan, because I don't even think me and Ethan knew each other at the time. But we just put two and two together. And was like, did that girl, like she was like um stealing like my reading titles, and I think she was stealing Ethan's too. Like it's crazy out here. But you know what it is? The root of it is when people do that, when they're not like coming, like a person that has the intention to come on here and say, "Oh, spirituality is where it's at. That's where the bucks are. I'm gonna get into that." And that might not be that person's calling, and then they have all these problems, or then later like the money might be good, you might be getting the clicks and the views, and you might be, people reposting your shit on Instagram and social media and TikTok, like you're going viral, but it's going to bite you later because that's not your true calling. And when that where that comes from is, or stealing people's like content ideas and doing this and doing that. You're doing that because you're coming from a lack mentality. That's really where it roots from. Take away all the demonizing a person. You're coming from lack because you don't believe that you can, or you haven't even given yourself that time to reflect on what is your purpose. What do you feel called to? Truthfully, from your soul, you're looking for a quick fix. You're looking for something to validate you. You're coming from a lack mentality. Your integrity is all the way the fuck off, for one, but the root of it is you're coming from lack. Because there's room and space for all of us to be our authentic self. And the money and the stability is going to come to you when you are doing what you're supposed to do anyway. So it's like, you don't gotta like fake the funk. And it doesn't even have to just be like spirituality wise. It could be corporate. It could be fucking prostitution. Like, I don't subscribe to this. I'm not here to shame a woman that does this, but I don't subscribe to just because you're a woman, use your body to get money and do this and that. Like, no, sis, you're selling yourself. You're selling your soul. Again, your morals, your values. And some people don't even know what their morals and values are. So it comes easy to them. They've been brainwashed and conditioned to think that that's okay. And then on top of that, like, you got media that's telling you it's okay to prostitute your body and this and this and that. So there's different levels of selling out. You don't know who you are. You don't know what you're called to. You don't know what your purpose is. You don't know what your intentions in this life are. A healthy intent, you're going to sell out. That's a lack mentality. Oh, that's sad. It's sad. You have to face yourself. The exposure of like certain things could be like devastating, like world stage type exposures, like, you know, with celebrities having those type of situations, or you know, nature boys and stuff going to prison, and you know, those type of exposure. But sometimes the exposure is, it starts with you. I tell you, pride comes before the fall. I'm telling you, like, you always get warnings. Like, you know when you need to check yourself, or when you're going too far, and spirit is like, you need to check yourself. And you're just like, no, I'm not doing that. I do what I want to do, or I don't care. You know, you have that pride about you. You're going to be your own downfall. You are going to expose yourself. You do that to yourself. You lead to your own demise. You know what I mean? This is period. Like, that's just, you know, that's what it is. You lead to that exposure. You do it. Even if it means that an outlet or someone else or something, like, you led that. You know what I mean? Like, you put yourself in that. Not the pride comes before the fall time. Child. uh-uh. No, but really, you have to check yourself. This is coming from a stubborn person. Like, a stubborn look, here comes the astrology shit. A stubborn Taurus woman. I'm telling you, like, straight. Like, you have to check yourself. I tell my kid, like, girl, you better fix that stubborn spirit, because that ain't gonna lead you nowhere good. That stubborn spirit is just an ugly thing to have. Let that shit go. Because humbleness, like, if you're trying to hold on, like, the pride is like your ego gripping to something to validate itself, even if it's wrong. That is just like, what? Toxic. Like, ugh. I'm telling you, like, no, you don't want to do that. No. I pray to God that yes. I pray to get, yes, some moon in Venus. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm just all kind of Taurus jacked up. But you know, it is what it is. God created it for a reason. That was just where I was in the stars at the time, I guess. Whatever. But yes, Black, Southern, West Indian, Caribbean. Yeah, like, Our big mamas, they knew. Our big mamas, like, they knew before anybody knew like what it was. They always spoke truth. The big mamas is really the oracles, and I want to like hold off on this topic, but I feel like the world is gonna be shocked to like really see who the divine really is. It's gonna really fuck people's heads up, and some people already knew that. But like, you think the whole Black Messiah little thing that what's his name, Putin, whatever, exposed with some shit for your head. Some people already like had that vision, or already felt or knew, or just through their discoveries already seen the shit. It's not new. But to really see who the big OG is gonna fuck people's heads up. I ain't even gonna go into it. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. It's gonna fuck your head up. And that is why anybody that has ever like fucked over women, exploited women and children, like, you're gonna see who the head honcho is. I'm telling you. You're gonna see. That is why, women, you have to love yourself outside of the world's validation of you, because being a woman, being a human being is tough, period. But being a woman is a beautiful thing, but it's also like so much limitations that they've tried to place on the head honcho. Hey, no, mama, shit, I'm gonna just say it. Mama Earth, divine mother, is the head honcho. How did you get here? Like, a feminine principle energy brought you here. You're not going to be able to just fuck up in life and like disrespect women. And that's like the mommy wounds that I have to heal those. My mommy wounds is like so deep, it goes into my grandmother wounds. Like, I have to heal that personally. I don't want discord with women. A woman brought me here, spiritually and physically speaking. I can't do that. Like, sisterhood to me is something that I feel like spirit is worked on before they even worked on me with loving another man, like a romantic thing. Like, I have to heal that. So men and women, you're not like, no, them bitches that, excuse my language, but that's what they are, that play friends and buddy to women just to take them out due to jealousy or due to some other man. Oh, bitch, you got it coming. I'm telling you. Mark my words. They have it coming. Some kind of capacity. Men that's unaliving women and pregnant women, you're really a demon and you got it coming too. Or some of you already like, you're gonna meet your own demise. I'm telling you, it's that like, no. The head honcho is feminine, women, divine feminine energy, but even more, it's just going to be who you don't think deserves to be that, or at least the physical representation of that, or who they um kind of have made the face of the divine mother. Some of you may not like it because you've been taught that she's not that desirable. She's ugly, she's trash, she's ghetto, she's this, she's that. um yeah. Mm-mm. The disrespect and the stereotypes are there for a reason. Y'all been given like all these images of like things and people to worship to keep you in this psyops of thinking that you're lesser than, and like other groups of people are better than you, and hate yourself and whitewash your skin and all that shit. All that stuff is being dismantled, I promise you. All that's being dismantled, because the more separation we have on this planet, and racism and all of that as well as one of them, gender wars, as long as that demonic spirit of discord and separation are on the planet, we are never going to be a powerful source of people until we surpass all those. Because racism, I really believe that's a demon spirit. It is. Anything that causes discord and separation is demonic. Gender wars, men versus women, and um sexism or sexual orientation is also like, we've made wars out of these things. That is a demonic spirit, for real. We ain't never gonna see any type of unity in the collective as long as we have that shit there. That is a fucking like psyop that we have to break. Religion, dare I say it, is demonic. For what it is, it could be a beautiful thing if you look at it from a spiritual perspective and reverence and taking the beautiful principles out of some of these religions. But when you hold this, like, you make it a war and you make it, I'm better and you're lesser than, that is demonic. Right. And then if you really look at a lot of these like religions and like as you say, it says folklores and pantheons, they're all similar. You know what I mean? Like they all derive from something similar. Some cultures will resonate with the different, like, the druids, or it's not druid, but what is it? Y'all know what I'm trying to say. The Hindu gods, the Christian gods, um the Afro Cubans, or I say Cubans, the Afro, like the Caribbean, the West African spirituality, all of these different spiritual, they have similar pantheons. So like that will resonate with one group of people, but it's a similar essence and energies. It has similar principles, or if not the same. So like religion is just like it's kind of useless, or the organization of it is useless, I should say. It hardly has done any good for anybody. The most humble people are not in the church. Like there are some humble people, there are some loving people that mean well, but a lot of demons dwell in the church. These religious figures that we look up to are corrupt. Some of them may be what we call false prophets, and some of them are people that were really chosen and called, and they allow their temptations, their own vices and devils be their downfall. It is what it is. All paths lead to God and the divine. Not being a Taylor Swift, you stupid. I can't side with the Swifties. I'm sorry, I can't. But the humans don't, like, the human idols is crazy. Them motherfuckers ain't leading you to God. They just, them motherfuckers know. But yes, I love this convo too. Like, we could all just be like on a call all at once. It would be interesting. Y'all remember Clubhouse? Is Clubhouse still a thing? Like Clubhouse, I heard, was like getting ratchet and getting a little crazy because again, that ego war and I know more than you and I'm this, like, pipe down. Yeah, this is the type of shit that I like to talk about with people and just like we all just be like, yeah, and this, yeah, like that type. I like that type of shit. I love it. But religion trauma, like I still haven't done a video on religious trauma. I might have to do a live. Um, oh shit, it's 2 a.m. I'm not gonna ask why you're in NYC right now, but I'm gonna leave that alone. But not Twitter. I still haven't got a Spaces, the Instagram platform, because I don't even use Twitter. So hey, but yeah, this was a good conversation. I still want to do a video on religious trauma and kind of like go into my personal experience and just talk about that whole thing because it is like a shackle. And like I love Christ, like Christ energy, Christ consciousness, like what he represents, like the whole story of Christ. Like I adore it. I love Christ energy. Like I love the figures in the biblical stories. I love it. They have Messenger on YouTube again. Please say they don't. Oh Lord. Please say they don't. But I do want to talk about it. I really do. Because I feel like it's gonna help some people break free. And if anybody ever grew up in Christianity or was raised in it and like you were taught that, spirituality and stuff like that was of the devil, the guilt, the fear of like, am I really doing what's right? What am I really doing what's wrong? But it's just like, no. Um, I don't know what you mean, sis. Just text me. Like, why you just text me? Oh, I don't know. Why you can just text me? Why you gotta email me? Just or voice clip me something. Shit, you don't gotta do all that. Um, but this was, yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on here. And like I said again, as this is not to bash people, just you just gotta call things as they are. It is what it is. And like I'm pretty sure people can pick and choose and be like, well, you're this and you're that. Like, okay, try me. But again, I know my intentions. And my intentions are to help people, and it's always been that from the start, even in my ignorance and even in my baby stage of my gifts and call and all of that, and the readings that I've done and the people that I've encountered and worked with and all of that. Like even then, like my intentions have always been the same. It's to help people genuinely. You know what I mean? So it did. Oh, Clubhouse. I wouldn't be. I'm not shocked by that. I shouldn't. I can't say I'm shocked. Because Clubhouse, I heard, was starting to get real, just too much. Like, people got to stank everything up. They just got to ruin it for everybody. Have a platform. Um, but I think it had its time. Maybe it was just one of those things because I think it was birthed or it really got popping during the pandemic because everybody had nothing else to do but just be online and just have an opinion and just go off the handles. But yeah, at the end of all of this, let's close this thing out. Continue to do your quote unquote shadow work, but even more with the Scorpio full moon that's coming, child. Like, just strap on your seatbelts. Make sure your lace fronts is glued down tight. Make sure that your braids ain't too tight. Make sure that just gotta have that pep talk with yourself. Like, I'm ready. I got this. Not fake. uh, like just strap on your boot. Not dealing with Karens at work. Karens are evil. Karens are the demons of the world. I'm telling you, like them heifers is crazy. Like they need their meds. Like if you're prescribed something, then you ain't taking it, child. Like sis, yeah, most of them are like it's just like that entitlement, like where they seethe with entitlement, and it's just like you're gonna do this. Like we ain't doing that here. We are not doing that here. Sit your ass down somewhere. Go drink some coffee or something. Go watch some. I don't fucking know. Like go watch The View or something and go sit down. Like go watch some Golden Girl reruns and have a good evening. I don't know. Like some of them just crazy. I don't know what their problem is. Yeah, like some of them, like the videos. I used to watch like a whole like reel of Karen videos, and some of them I just wanted to jump through the screen and just molly wop and just like just the vision. Like I had to stop. Like I just wanted to like put my just reach through the screen and do some damage. But I'm just like that doesn't solve anything. Um, even though they might deserve it, in my opinion. But like some videos, like I would look at them, I'm like, these they look like they ain't there. Like they look possessed. Like weird. Like some of them were like really weird. I'm just thinking to myself, like, one or two things, or it's both. Like you didn't take your meds, or you are possessed by something. Like what's your problem? And I will dare say, like some of it is racism too. Like that's part of it. Like that. I'm telling you, like that's a spirit. How much I want to bet? You could probably cast that out of a person. I wouldn't doubt it. You can cast that. I bet you racism out of a person. I bet you $1 million. You can. That's a spirit, demonic spirit at that. Just to be like quite frank, and I bet you. I'll be scared if like you ask like what the spirit's name is and it's like Karen. Like like damn. But I wouldn't put it past them. I would not. I would not. I just wouldn't put it past them. I be looking at them like these bitches is like they're not there for real. I encountered a male Karen before, and we got into a physical altercation, and he ended up getting arrested, and I walked away with like that was the first time I ever like physically lifted a man up off the ground. Like he was an average sized man, and I'm 5'6". I'm not that tall. I mean, maybe to some people I might be like tall, especially with heels. But I don't know, I turned into a credible Hulk. The ancestors or something tapped in or something. I lifted that dude off the ground because he was like harassing me and my mom. He was being racist, and I just snapped. But he was a Karen. Like he definitely was like he was drunk for one, but it was something off about his energy. But like, nah, never again. I don't encourage women to get into altercations with men, but at that, I felt like I had to defend myself and my mom. And something was like, I don't know, I'm telling you, like a strength that I don't even know that I had to lift a man off the floor is kind of scary. I'm not even like physically built to do that. So I don't know. I wouldn't advise it, but just hey, I don't like demons. I'm sorry. That man, he had it coming. He was messing with the wrong bitch that night. Okay. Child. Anyway, yeah, Karen's we gonna sprinkle the holy water on them, tell them to go somewhere and sit down. But they always be like at places like shopping centers and grocery stores. They be at grocery stores, they be at apartment complexes and shit. They be at the park. Like, bitch, you ain't got no business. What do you want? Like shit. Gosh. Not they stink like beer and cigarettes. Oh my God. Does the spirit have the wig too? Yeah, I'm telling you, like, cause we were outside of a gas station. This was back when red boxes were a thing, and me and my mom were like looking at red boxes, and he was behind us, just talking shit, like trying to he was trying to yeah, he was trying it, and when we got into it, I guess someone had called the cops on him, and me and my mom like we started to dip off, and the cops pulled him over, and he was drunk. So you can imagine that he probably got arrested that night. He tried it. He tried it. But there's Karens in the spiritual community. Oh hell yeah, yeah, we were just talking about them. The gatekeeping, like the it's just like, oh, you can't do it that way. And it's just I feel like because I remember I always got a story because it's a testimony that hey, just to put this in context, there was a store that we had downtown. It was like it was literally called the hippie store or hippie something. Hippie, no, it was the hippie store, I believe. That was a dope store though. Like they had like cool ass t-shirts. Like basically if you imagine like a pothead hippie person like with the tie-dye shit and the tapestries and the bongs and shit, it was like that would be their dream store. Like they could live there. So like that store was dope. So there was like these quote unquote Karens, and like they're always like wearing like patchouli oils and wearing like this, organic fabrics and head wraps with like blonde dreads, but they don't like niggas. Excuse my language, but they don't like black people. They do not like black people, and they'll like look at you and treat you all crazy. But it's like it just it doesn't make no sense. Like the fact that you guys proclaim to be like these hippies and that you love everybody, that's fake. That is egotistical spirituality. That's fake spirituality. Like you're looking at the look of it and the aesthetic. Oh, I smoke pot and I listen to Bob Marley and Jimi Hendrix is on my wall and shit, and I got dreads. But you hate black people or you just hate colored people. Color sounds so old school. What the hell? The big mamas is mad. Yeah, like you don't like black people, you don't like people of color. but you talk about namaste and you got namaste tattooed on you and on the and all that shit on, but you don't like people colored. Like, how does that work? This fucking fake shit. This is fake. Organic fabric, synthetic ego. No, for real. I just like, because it's not about an aesthetic. That's what people don't understand. Like, that's how you're gonna miss out on the spiritual thing. That's where, again, discernment. You have to be able to identify the obscure thing and find wisdom in it. But if you're looking at something from your ego and your physical eye, you're going to misinterpret what you're getting. You're going to misinterpret it because you're looking at the aesthetic of a situation or a thing, and you're not really tapping into the truth, or you'll miss the gem in something that you feel like it's most likely to come from. Like this revelation came to me ironically from this Christian woman's channel, this prophetic girl's channel, where she was talking about when we ask God for confirmations, or we ask God for signs, and how God said it's in your circumstances. Sometimes, like, we'll look for specific signs, especially as like so-called spiritual people, right? We get all obsessed with the synchronicities and angel numbers and all the shit that's outside, that we're not paying attention to the circumstances being the answer to our question. And sometimes when we ask a question, we already answer it. We already know the answer to it. It's all over the place. And what I imagine, yeah, spirituality is a trend. It is an aesthetic. It is a cloak to the ego if we're not careful. And again, it's all about your intentions. What is your intentions? I'm telling you, like, people that look the part, those people, like, if they're not really about that, because there are people that are, this is not to say that if you dress like that and all of that, that you're not spiritual, but there is, like, you, again, a discernment, discerning like who's really about that life, that could still dress like that, versus a person that's dressing like that and not really about that life. Just as you can discern a person that doesn't look like they're about that life, and they're just as spiritually powerful and gifted, or have something of substance for you, or represent something deeper, but they don't look the part, you can overlook that. I'll never forget, there was this woman that me and an old friend were looking at on Instagram Live, and she had gold teeth, straight up gold teeth in her mouth. She was spitting some real shit. It's like we were looking at her like, like, we was judging, sat there and listened to her, like, not even 5 seconds in, she was already hitting on shit. She was already resonating. That's the shit that I'm talking about. You can miss out on things if you don't discern what you're looking at, not physically looking at. I'm gonna quote the Bible real quick, where Prophet Samuel was kind of conflicted between choosing the new king, because Saul needed to be dethroned. The people chose Saul, not God. God didn't choose Saul to be the king. He really wanted David. And Samuel was looking at David's brother and was like, oh, it must be him, because he had like this bomb physique. He was strong and he had the looks. And then God was like, no, I don't look at the appearance. I look at the heart of a person. So, like, you're looking at him, but he's not the person I'm choosing to be the prophet. He's not called to it. So then he was like, well, do you have any other sons? After he went through all the sons in the house, the dad was like, yeah, my son David, he's outside with the shepherd tending to the sheep or whatever. That's who God wanted called. And people looked at even King Solomon. I think King Solomon was David's son in the Bible, right? People looked at Solomon like he is not equipped to stand in his father's place. He's too young. He's too this. He's not wise. He had to approve, like, no, I am king. Like, I'm going to show you how I work. Let me show you how I work. It's not about appearance. It's not about appearance. Look beyond that. Use your discernment. Use your discernment. I get it. We live in a superficial world, but, there are exceptions to the rule. That's just like, again, got to know what you're looking at. But I don't want to keep y'all. I was not expecting to be on here this long. Like something is just wrong when you can just sit on a live that long and just. But I don't feel alone though. I have you guys. I don't feel alone, you know. But you guys are loved. Y'all turn your light all the way up. Okay? Turn your swag on all the way up. Okay? Where we can see you, where we can hear you, where we can feel you. Turn it all the way up. Unapologetically. We need you. We need your lights. Not to take from your light, but to be inspired by your light. We need that. The planet needs your lights, my lights, they light, this light. And you can't pretend false light. Like if you just strip off all the fancy titles and all of that, that's false light. Just strip a person of that. And it's easy to discern. And not to say that some people don't have light. Like I do believe like some people just like they are not human. They don't got a soul. I just wholeheartedly believe that. But for those that don't know their light and they're walking in a false light, all you got to do is just know who the core truth of who you are and what you're about and walk in that. Automatically, your light's turned on. Automatically. You just got to get through the shadow of yourself. You got to remove all that gunk off of you. Out of like, imagine this. Let's put it in perspective, okay? Let's say a person doesn't know who they are, so they start putting on all these chains or all these necklaces, all these fancy clothes and fancy shoes and hair and makeup and whatever, or just putting on like spiritual, this is what spirituality look like type clothes. And their inner being, their aura, if you look at their auric body, it's just black. There might be a little bits and pieces of little light piercing through, but it's just black. And so the people are appeased by the fanciness and the shiny things, the glittery things of this person. But if you take all of that off, you strip it off, now they're down to their auric body, which is this black space. It's only until they start going into that gunk and clearing it out and cleansing it and releasing it and loving themselves or whatever they need to do. That's when the light is going to start to exude. That's when the light is going to start to pierce and it's going to illuminate. It's going to illuminate. Look at it from that perspective. Some people just don't know their light. They're still full of trauma. They're trying to find purpose and trying to find identity outside of themselves, and you're never going to find it. You're never going to find it until you go inside of yourself. That's where you find your true light. It's not about all the shit that you know, all the shit that you regurgitate that you found online and how studied and how well versed you are in books and in college and all that. That's not full light. It's mental illumination, yes, but it doesn't mean shit if you're not applying it and utilizing it. Not delete the you're stupid, Ethan. The Taylor Swift, you stupid. Oh my God. I'm done with you. But anyway, oh God. But yeah, no, for real. It's not about all that, for real, trust me. Like that's beautiful and everything. Like knowledge is power, as they say, but you gotta utilize the shit. Faith without works is dead. You and Taylor Swift. I'm tired of y'all Swifties. Like I'm trying to get away from y'all Swifties, okay? Like I just want my peace. Like I just really want my like give me 10 feet for real. Just give me 10 feet and like that's it. If anybody came on here with negative intent, trying to like find something and like, something negative, I hope that this energy shifts your perspective and like you actually like find your own light and your own business, like get yourself together and stop worrying about other people and like trying to like tear motherfuckers down. Instead, build yourself up, like truthfully and honestly build yourself up, not your ego self. Like you're real, like really love up on yourself because you need it. You know what I mean? Like you come on here being deviant, and then whatever God you know needs to turn the positive into, it's going to happen. So I hope this message finds everybody well and gives you some food for thought, even if it triggered you, even if you're like your demons is mad and all that. But you know how that go. The beehives and the Swifties. I try to stay away from all of the, all the cliques of the celebrities. Them people is really off the handles. Like I get you can be a fan. What's my fan base? I ain't got no fan base name. It just sounds corny. Like I don't even have one. Like I can't even think of what it would be. That's how corny that would be. The concept of that would be. But yeah, like them people is crazy. Like these motherfuckers don't know you, and some of them they might like send you some exclusive stuff and like like hang out with you and take pictures with y'all and stuff. But y'all really crazy, like like I'm not paying my rent money to each his own. Like if I had the option to say like, oh, I would go to like let's say if Aaliyah was still alive, or maybe even Michael Jackson's ass was still alive. If I had the money to just be like, I'm gonna spend my rent money for the month to go see, like if I had it. But if it's something that I just don't have and it's just like some motherfucker that's got like 10 catalogs and half of the catalog is kind of mediocre, I'm not spending my money on that motherfucker. I'm just not. That's just me. Hey, some people just like, bitch, no, this is so and so, and I want to go. I'm gonna be front row and center. I'm gonna live my life. Like, yeah, okay, you fuck with her like that. I don't, or him, whoever. I don't like that. You know, Mariah Carey. I get it. Mariah Carey is a legend, but I still wouldn't spend my rent money on Mariah Carey though. I just wouldn't. I can't even like think of like the most expensive concert ticket I've ever spent. It's never been over like $200. I've never spent that much on a ticket. Mm-mm. Because I was looking, it was like I don't know if he still goes on tour, but it was um Sir Elton John was coming out here, and I was just curious now. I looked at his concert tickets, and the mugs was like $2,000 and up, and I said, "Oh, bitch, no." That's not even like the front section. That's like the middle section. I ain't doing that. Like that's in the middle of the arena. That's not even that close up. Like I ain't doing that. I know you've been in the game before I was even thought of. Like, I get it to an extent, but no. Mm-mm. No, I ain't doing that. The Essence Fest? No, I would love to. It depends on who's there actually, but I would like to go to like some of the different like experiences, not just the music stuff, but what are the panels and stuff that they have. It just depends on who's there. I'll say that. My aunt's been to one before, but I would like to go myself. 200 on Madonna, that's not that bad. That's not that bad. I just want to go to New Orleans, actually. Like, I've been called to go to New Orleans for a minute, and I almost did. We were supposed to go. It was a friend of the family. Her wedding was originally supposed to be in New Orleans, and I was excited. Me and my cousin, or me and my aunt, sorry, me and my aunt were excited. And I know, isn't he? Hi, Jade. Um, but instead, she decided to go to Hawaii, and I was like, Hawaii. Hawaii always calls to my spirit too. So I was glad to go, but I still want to go to New Orleans though. Like, damn, child, yes. I want to experience the music. I want just everything. Like there's some sites that I would love to go to and like visit, but yeah, it's something out there. Like everybody has their own experience. Some people are like, "Oh my god, it's scary." And some people are like, no, it's dope, it's powerful. Um I would love to go. I would love to. Really? It's so beautiful. I mean, there's so many different parts of Hawaii, Um, but it's just a beautiful, like, I feel at peace anytime I go to the ocean, the beach, whether it's in the US or like, Hawaii is in the US, but it's something about that land is so sacred. And I wouldn't be surprised. No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna leave. We're not gonna do that because that, like, the conspiracist is gonna come out. I'm not doing that. Um, but I love the water. I love it. Barcelona, ooh, there's so many places I would love to go. I'm sure like y'all just would love too, but rainforests, I have to see more rainforests. Like that's so, like, oh my God, like the greenery is the flowers, the plants, the trees, like the animals, even the insects. I'm not too fond of bugs flying around me and on me, but I can appreciate insects. Just looking at some of them, just don't fly, don't touch me, don't bite me. Like I'm good, like don't touch me, but no snakes either. Like, I don't want to see no snakes. Like, ugh. Yeah, let's speak on it. More travels. Like, I want to like touch more of like the rainforests, the Caribbeans, the islands. I do want to go. Definitely, I want to go to Honduras. You know, some of the places I want to go are not safe to go right now, but I do want to go to Honduras as well. Definitely. So the insects, I know, too many bugs. I know, but I would love to like just touch more greenery in the rainforest. It's gorgeous. Jamaica from Panama. Yeah, I would love to go. Panama, yeah. Belize, you read my Ethan, yes. See, there's something like, okay, Belize, there's something there. I need to go. That's confirmation. Yeah, because my auntie's she's went to, I think she did go to Belize, or was it no, it wasn't Barbados. She went to Belize, Ecuador. That would be beautiful. But my auntie, she went to Belize and she went to Puerto Rico, and I think she went to another island, but she took some beautiful pictures of their hikes up in the rainforest, and oh, so jelly. Yes, it's beautiful. I'm sure. Like, yes, but I want to go to Honduras. There's something there too about Honduras that I'm called to. But of course, Africa. Africa specifically, but the place I want to go, I heard it's not safe right now. But I do want to go to Africa. Africa. Well, I ain't gonna go into the topic of that. We ain't gonna talk about that. Let me not do that. Save that for another time. Save that for another time. Oh, Brazil, your Neptune line is there. That's interesting. How does that work? How do you see that, Jade? That's interesting. I've never heard of that. So you learn something new about astrology. Like astrology is so like so extensively, like it's so detailed that, yeah. Thailand. Yes, How could I forget about Thailand? I don't agree with like the riding on the elephants because I love elephants. Those are one of my, like, if not my top favorite animal. Like I adore elephants. I just want to be by them. I don't think I want to be riding on their backs and shit. Like I just all that shit, like them theatrical like attractions with animals and shit, where you just sitting there doing inhumane things. Like, I don't want to be like the 10th person that day that got on the elephant's back and he like, bitch, if you don't get, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to oppress another animal. Like, I don't want to do that. But I do want to be around the elephants. When I think of Thailand, that's the first thing I think of is elephants. And I would love to go to an Indian, it's a festival for elephants, and I can't remember the name, but I would love to experience that too. I love elephants, those are my babies. I would love to experience that for sure. Yeah, for sure. And I want to go to some sacred temples as well, like Probably won't go in any of them. It's disrespectful, maybe. I don't know. But I would like to visit some temples as well. I gotta look up what that Indian Elephant Festival is. If y'all haven't caught it, I want to go to one. Let me see. It's let me see. Elephant Festival is celebrated in Jaipur City. Held on the day of Holi, which generally falls in February and March for the celebration. Elephants are decked up with jewelry. I want to go. I want to go. It's so cool. It's so dope. I love elephants. Like those are my babies. So that would be interesting to see. But yeah, Hinduism, same. Um, yeah, I've heard good things about it and bad things from people that have been, but I feel like it just depends on where you go, honestly. And yes, Buddhism. I can't forget about Japan. Like, bitch, Japan, like that is like probably outside of the islands and the rainforests and the oceans. I want to go to Japan for sure. And I definitely want to experience Tokyo as well. Just as an anime girl myself, I feel like just everything I would just be living, um, going crazy off the handles. I would love it. And I gotta find some of them Hello Kitty places too. They have like Hello Kitty restaurants and malls and shit and attractions. Like that's where I'm trying to be at. Okay, that's what I'm trying to go. Anywho, I'm tired of talking too much. I'm done. I'm sorry. Like I'm good. No more talking. Yes, we have to. There's something for us there. We may not know if it's like our ancestors dwelled there, if it's something like God, like something we're meant to experience or meet somebody that's supposed to meet us and we're supposed to meet them, like something significant supposed to jump off and pop off. Like there's a reason why traveling, I feel like, is a beautiful thing. It's not just to like go just to like fuck up and get drunk and go to the bars and the clubs and have sex and stuff. It's not always for that. I feel like it's really a spiritual, like, it's got to be called to certain places to experience the beauty of it, you know? Sag moon. Where is my Sag placement? I got some Sag somewhere in my chart, and I'm sure it means something, but yeah, I feel like definitely travel is a spiritual experience that you're missing. Even if you go somewhere in the US, like you are called to be there for a reason. Like you took a road trip to where you're supposed to go. It's for a reason that you were there. It's for a reason. Yes. In retrospect, yeah. Yes, let's manifest a trip. Like one of these days, like this is what I imagine. This is what I envision. I was thinking a little bit small because I'm like, oh, I want to have like a circle, a sister circle, like somewhere by the ocean, maybe in LA or something, because that's like easy for me to get to. Or me and my good friend, we were talking about like where she lives, like in Nevada, doing some type of like sister circle or something. But I want to like this is how I envision having like some type of healing circle, maybe not just for women, but just people to like come, and even children, like some type of healing, not like trauma bonding and like that conscious, that hive collective of trauma, like people connecting based off of that. Not that type of vibe, but just a lot of love and a lot of releasing and healing and like activating and just just something beautiful and dope. And I do see water and I see like beautiful like plants and trees. It does kind of look like Thailand, I'm not gonna lie. It kind of looks like Thailand. And I see my singing bowl. It's like that's next up. Like I wanna just telling you, the water, the sound of the water, the sound of like just the birds chirping and all kind of just nature and sound bowls. I'm telling you, it's lit. Okay. That okay. My big three, you'll never guess. You'll never guess what my big three is. Kind of want you to do it just so like just for fun, just for shits and giggles, because I know you're gonna be off. If you don't know at all, you won't guess it. You just won't. You will not guess it. I'm telling you, I promise you, you're not gonna guess it. You're probably like, what? Like, once you figure out what my big three, or if I tell you my big three, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? Like, who made you? I don't know. I don't know why that happened to me. I don't know. I really don't know. I honestly don't know why that happened. I can't make sense of it. It's just like, Spirit, why you do that? Why you do that? You'll never guess. Just for shits and giggles, you can try to guess it. It's not what you think. But it's like, I don't think I've ever met anybody that has like that type of situation. Not even just like the sign, but just like, why would you do that? Like, I'm like a slot machine. Like, just ching. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know why Spirit did that. It's just like stupid. I mean, I can't, say that it's stupid. How do you send the info? How do you wait? What are you trying to send me? Um. Oh, I have a sister named Daria. I'm thinking that you're her. That's weird. um. I guess if you want to, you can leave a comment. I don't think they have Messenger on here, and just I guess you can just leave a comment or something. I thought you were her at first. I'm just like chopping it up. That's funny, but not a coincidence, I guess. That's interesting. Yeah. Jade, you're just like you're far off except for the sun placement. So my situation is this. My situation is I'm a sun, Taurus, moon, rising, and Venus. That's my situation. Like Spirit just like wasn't they were clever, but they weren't that clever. Like Spirit was like, we ain't gonna do too much. We ain't gonna make her this and we ain't gonna make her. We just give her just she gonna just have to be born right here. Like just this is what's gonna be. This Venus bitch. Like she just I was born on the planet of Venus. I'm convinced. That's where I was born at. I had to be. Planet of Venus. Nowhere else on the planet. Yeah, Spirit said, voila, it's a tour. Hello. Just Taurus. Hey, we're gonna make her the bulls. The most stubborn motherfucker on the planet. I bet you. You've never met anyone more. No, I'm just saying no. I don't even want to place that on myself. I'm not even gonna do that. Uh, yeah. Elaborate, pure love essence. What's the seraphim? What degree? You gonna have me pull out my chart and shit? Do I have a Facebook page? No, I put it down for the time being. It's on hiatus. I don't use Facebook. I just never was a Facebook type of person. So, but for reasons that I don't use it, I just deactivated it for now. Or matter of fact, not with your MySpace. I miss MySpace. Um, I'll look into it. I never really looked into that. Thank you. Um, what was I gonna say? If you go on my website, I do have like a message center, like a chat bubble. So like if you go to, because let me put it in the chat, because my old YouTube name formerly was Walu Child Readings, because Walu is like significant to my childhood, like just a word that I thought I made up and my family thought I made up as a child, but it actually means eight. in Hawaiian. So interesting. Let me see. Let me hop on the chat with y'all real quick. It is um I know I need to get off too. It's like 12:30 at night. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I was like wanted to make some jewelry and I was just like, yeah, no. Well, it's nice having you on here, Ethan, and everybody. Everyone, I appreciate y'all for joining the chats. Yeah, just yeah, just go on the yeah. But yeah, I think that's gonna conclude it, y'all. I appreciate y'all for joining me and like just sitting through this whole fucking tangent. And it's like that wasn't a tangent, but it's all love over here, y'all. Like y'all free to your own viewpoints and opinions. We do not have to agree. We can agree to disagree and be still like cool or just, move on about the business. Okay. I really thought you was, I was like talking to you because like yeah, it's like a similar vibe like to her. So I'm just like, oh yeah. But hey, um, yeah, it's early morning now. It's Tuesday here. It's officially Tuesday. So happy Tuesday. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for joining. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.